Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well, but what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button, and everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth. Or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks. Today we are back with another interesting episode. Something that obviously should be talked about. Should we continue being matriarchal? Okay. Or should we establish a patriarchy? Okay. That's really a somewhat simple question. Or you can say it's a complex question, because technically it's two questions if you want to think about it. But it's not something very hard. Should we continue being matriarchal, or should we establish a patriarchy? Okay. That's what we're going to talk about. Obviously, a subject that definitely needs to be talked about amongst Black folks, because the stuff that's going on out here and the words that I'm coming across, man, it's all... Some of this stuff is just plain crazy at the end of the day. But before we go too far into this, let's take care of some business real quick. First of all, shout out to everybody who gives me views on a regular basis. Appreciate all the people who are family, gives me views regular basis. Appreciate all y'all. Shout out to all the people who leave comments after the stream. That definitely helps with the algorithm, helps grow the channel. So thank you very much for doing that. Shout out to all the people who hype me up every chance they get. Hey, anything they put out there that's gonna help the channel grow, use it. Okay. Shout out to all the people who hit the like button. You know, that makes a great deal in the algorithm as well. So boom, that's how you can help grow the channel, doing those things, y'all. So I appreciate everybody who takes the time out to do those things. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty. The people who become financial contributors over here at the Roger Report Live. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And today I want to say thank you, especially to Chase Freeman. He is what we like to call the sponsor of today's stream. So shout out to you, Chase Freeman. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. Y'all, it all helps, y'all. Big or small, I do appreciate it all. Okay, big or small, I do appreciate it all. So shout out to Chase Freeman. He is the sponsor of today's stream. And let me say shout out to some of the first people to check in this morning. It's always good that when you start a show that you got a few people checking in. But if you know anything about the Roger Report Live, you know there can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream, my main man, the one and only Gold P, y'all. It's Gold P. He is the Highlander of the stream. Shout out to you, my brother. Great to have you here. Glad to see you here, my brother. Shout out to the Righteous Teacher. What's good, brother? Glad to see you in here as well. We got my main man, Floyd Thompson, and pulled up a seat to the cool table. Yay, yay. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Trev Bentley done walked through the door behind him. Great to see you, brother. Representing like he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's baby. Hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. We got the Great Black Reset here as well. Good to have you, brother. Devon Townsend is in the building. Great to see you. Great to see you. We got I'm listening in the house. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Afro Merchant is checked in. We got Bucket in the building as well. Inspired True Broadcast. What's good, my brother? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. And we got the pitmaster himself, y'all, my main man, who helps keep things a little cool when we get a little bit out of control over here. Chef Mike's Roundtable is also here. Yo, appreciate the pit crew, y'all. Gotta say much respect to the pit crew. And that's the pitmaster, Chef Mike's Roundtable. Great to see y'all here. And shout out to Inspired True Broadcast, okay? And shout out to Devon Townsend, okay? They get me off to the good start. Devon Townsend drops in the $4.99 on the super sticker. Thank you very much, my brother. I definitely appreciate the love, brother. Definitely appreciate the love. Thank you very much. Appreciate that big time. Also, shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast, who said, a busy December, but I'm still here in the cloud. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, know. Sometimes all we can do is cloud work. There's some people that, you know, live halfway around the world and they kind of listen to the Roger Report Live at different times. Now, some of them folks just stay in the cloud. Some of them we can see. You know, shout out to people like Passport OG. Doing great work, y'all. He doing great work. So shout out to him. But we're going to get this party going, y'all. And the title of this, y'all, I do want y'all to know. See, the title of this particular stream, should we continue being matriarchal or establish patriarchy? Now, I guess this was me being nice. Because I was going to change the title to, you know, make it a little bit more simple for people. And maybe I still will, even after the show. Maybe I still will. Okay? Because I could have just simply put Black women want slave culture. Yep. I could have simply put that. Black women want slave culture. Now, some black men want it too. Yo, we as black folks gonna have to accept we have two major subsections of black people. It's one thing for outsiders to look at us as one group of people, because we gonna do that to them. A lot of y'all are like me. When I see white people, I just see white people. Okay? When I look at white people, I don't say, well, this particular white person happens to be Italian. This particular white person happens to be Scandinavian. This particular white person looks like they're British. We don't do all those type of separations in our mind. Now, maybe if you dealing with the person on a more intimate level, maybe you out to dinner with the person, or you're at that home eating the meal, for whatever reason you would do that, maybe things like that would come up. But from a general perspective, when you're out in public and you see people, you just seeing them in whatever group they happen to be in. Okay? So when you look at white people, they just white people. Okay? It is what it is. Now, if you in the group, you should be able to tell who's in your group versus who's not in your group. All right? You should be able to tell that. So what's the two major subsections? There are black men like myself who are respectable, productive, and functional, who actually believe in black men's leadership. Okay? Automatically, we're going to move much more patriarchal than generally black people in America will. Okay? And shout out to all my people listening around the world. Appreciate y'all too. All right? Now, we have a anti-family, single mother, dysfunctional community, and they think very matriarchal. Okay? They do things very backwards in a lot of scenarios. They think totally different. Okay? They think matriarchy is fine. You know, and that's men, women, and children are on both sides of this, y'all. You know, on the side that I'm on, there are men like myself who are married to women and have children, and those children still live in their home. See, the children live in their home, they still qualify to be in our community. Now, as you grow up and you leave out the house, now it's on you to get back in the community or prove that you're still a part of the community. So if you're a man, and if you grow up, you leave your father's home. Notice I said you leave your father's home. It's on you to become respectable, productive, and functional. Okay? And to believe in black men's leadership. None of that's guaranteed. It should happen, but none of that's guaranteed. Same thing for the women. If the woman leaves her father's home, it is on her to marry a man who is respectable, productive, functional, that believes in black men's leadership. And until she does that, she's out the group. And this is something black men need to understand, y'all. Women are not communities. They just people who participate in them. That's all they do. If any community runs out of men, that community no longer exists. That's just the way the world works. It's been working that way historically since the world began. Okay? So women just participate in communities. They're not a community. Men are a community. Okay? Now, is that an insult to the women? No, it's not. It's just reality because women ain't going to fight to be a community on their own. It's that simple at the end of the day. Now, what goes on in the overall black community when you look at both of those two separate groups together? Because you still have the anti-family, dysfunctional single mother community, where they believe being a single mother is a great thing. Well, they exist too. Now, what goes on over there? A lot of backwards thinking. Now, I put a lot of links in the description today, y'all. I put a lot of links in the description, but I think the links are very important because I want people to understand that, you know, I mean, sometimes I do shows where there's no links, and I know I put out these ideas. I don't just be talking, y'all. Links are just, you know, proof of concept or proof of some of the stuff that I be coming across on the internet. Trust me, I can't even show you everything that I come across. It's too much and it's too ridiculous. But sometimes I like to show some of these examples that are going on. So, you know, in that first link, we have a very problematic thing that goes on with a lot of folks in Black America. Now, a lot of this will come from women, but that you will have men that will repeat the same dumb stuff. And what they say is, well, we got problems on both sides. Now, what they're really trying to say is, okay, if I'm going to admit that women are messed up, I'm not going to admit that in a way that it's going to be helpful at all. We're going to blame men too, even though women are the problem. That's what they're doing. Okay. Now, can you accurately say that there's problems on both sides? Yeah, you can say that accurately because technically when you deal with big groups of people, especially by the millions, you can always say somebody has a problem on both sides because you can find one or two people with a problem. So it's technically true. But in reality, we don't really have problems on both sides. We got a problem on one side, and that's women. Now, I'm not saying all these guys who are anti-family, dysfunctional, because they support women's nonsense. But let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. A lot of those guys would be patriarchal if they truly understood it's the right move to make. So when we say we got problems on both sides, what are we talking about? We're talking about men who bought into women's nonsense. That's what we're talking about. But see, that's not what they're talking about. Okay? They like men who bought into women's nonsense because it allows them to continue to do what they do, or it helps. It helps them to continue to be involved in nonsense. And they like to get a man to back up their nonsense. Let's just keep that real. So when you say we got problems on both sides, they're not really addressing the real issue. The issue is we have black women who do not want to be what a black woman should be. It's that simple at the end of the day. They're a woman by gender, but they're not a woman by character. They're not a woman based on how they act. And they don't want anybody telling them what to do, especially a black man. And that's just real talk. So we got people who will say stuff like that because they want to keep problems going on. Now, we got another gentleman. Yeah, and I think these first three, I just looked up something about black women being heads of households, and these are just the random things they pop up. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I just, hey, these were the first ones that popped up. This is what I'm sticking. I ain't even arranged these at all. This is just how it came up. So you got a guy who's talking about women being heads of household. And, he's doing a comparison with fathers being head of household. Dealing with some of the problems that we're going to have because you have more women being heads of household, which leads to other problems. Okay. Now he connected that to interracial dating, and I get what he was trying to do. I believe he was doing stuff from a quote unquote good spirit, but this is the thing, y'all. If men date interracially, it's women's fault. And that's something a lot of black men just can't accept because they don't truly want to blame women for anything. Black men are supposed to come of age with plenty of women to pick from who they would be willing to take care of. Okay? This is a one-sided thing because black women don't want to take care of men. Not no black men anyway, I should say. They don't want to take care of black men. They will take care of white men. I'll give them that. But they don't want to take care of black men. So a lot of people, they try to reduce black men to women. And they try to keep, and this works a lot on black men. They keep trying to tell you how the problem is the fact that you're not a good enough man. You never was supposed to even be trying to be a good enough man. You're the one that's going to take care of her, which means she needs to be a good enough woman for you, not the other way around. Okay? It's not the other way around. And it's never going to be the other way around until women accept, until a majority, or you could say at least half of women are okay with taking care of men. If you're not going to do the job, then we're not going to act like you're doing the job. Okay? A lot of people can understand some things on a simple level. Do you apply for a job, or does a job apply for you? Shout out to the Kev, a black man being brutally honest. That's something he said the other day. Well, technically, I guess I shouldn't have said he said it, but I'm gonna quote my brother on that one. Forgive me, bro, because we did say that in private, so I guess I shouldn't have said it. But hey, it's one of your quotes. I think he'll let me slide on this one, y'all. I think he'll let me slide. Did you apply? Do you apply for a job, or does a job apply for you? But see, a lot of black men, you got to see yourself as the job. If you're willing to take care of her, and she's unwilling to take care of you. It just is what it is. It's not your job to qualify for her. It is her job to qualify for you. Now, women can apply wherever they want to apply. I'm not saying any woman got to apply to any man, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Okay? I don't apply for women. I allow women to apply for me because they ain't none of them going to take care of me. And that's just what it is. Okay? So it's not ego. It's not being arrogant. It's just how you supposed to think because you're a man. Now, women will try to shame you from being like that because if you start thinking too much, you might find out you're supposed to be in charge. A lot of stuff going to point to it. Okay? Now, the third video that came up right after that is with some woman making a bunch of excuses about being a strong black woman. Now, I had nothing to do with these. I just said, let me look this up, and I'm just gonna put the first random 3 up. And this what came up. First random shorts that came up. This what came up. Now you got a woman making excuses about black women and what they quote unquote have had to gone through. Which, let's keep it real, they haven't had to go through. If we are realistic, what happened after slavery? We got segregation. What happened during segregation? Black men, we set up heads of households in different places. We even went out and built a bunch of cities where women didn't have to be the head of anything. So women have never been in leadership positions since slavery unless they wanted it. Now, during slavery, were they put as overseers on plantation? Yeah. Not gonna even argue that. Not gonna argue that one bit. But when has a woman had to be a leader since slavery came to an end? Nowhere. Let's be real about that too. So yeah, we got people making excuses about it. Well, we had to do this and no, you didn't. They had to do nothing since slavery came to an end. Not one woman had to be a so-called leader because, and I'm saying after slavery came to an end, it's just the black women want to be in charge of niggas. Because they look at us the same way the slave master looks at us. They want to be in charge of niggas. Just is what it is. They want to be in charge. You a nigga, therefore I should be in charge. Why? Because master told me I should be in charge. Now you sitting there like, what? We ain't even slaves no more. What you talking about? It don't make no difference. Master said that, and guess what? Since he said it, it's good. Now you got generations that started to die that never actually even lived in slavery. And what's that woman's attitude? Well, Master still said it though. How you know Master said it? Because my mama told me Master said it. Then my grandma told me Master said it. Then my great grandma told me Master said it. And they ain't gave up on that yet. It just is what it is. They ain't gave up on it yet. But no, they didn't have to be in charge. They elected to be in charge. And every opportunity black women have had to get away from black men and a quote unquote not be led by you niggas, they've taken it. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Why don't a lot of black women live with black men right now? Because they don't want to listen to a nigga. Because we can say black men all we want. What they see, what they hear is nigga. It just is what it is. Now, shout out to all my hoes, demonetized. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. He said, the Roger Report Live. Great day, fellas. Another topic showing you keep them demonetized. Hashtag the other KF 2028. Shout out to you, brother. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Real talk. Oh, that's just plain old hilarious. Okay. So, and I see you backstage. I got you in a moment, brother. I got you in a moment. So the thing is, women ain't had to be in charge. They just like to be in charge anytime they see a nigga involved. All right. Now, something else just popped up. You got them talking about black women, right? Now, I just added this one this morning because it's talking about black women. You know, you even pulled in somebody who was playing in the WNBA. And what they started with, well, 40% of black women, have a total household income of under $50,000. As if this is somebody's fault other than their own. Okay? As if this is somebody's fault other than their own. See, we live in a society where they try to push certain things and ideas, and a lot of men, we become suckers because we buy into these ideas. Okay? And that's just real talk. We buy into these ideas. Why do I care if 40% of women have households that make less than $50,000? Because one thing I can guarantee about almost 100% of those women, they ain't got no man. These are unmarried women. Why would we care? Why is there a reason to care? If she would have got married, I'm pretty sure she'd be making I'm pretty sure more than $40,000 would be coming into her household. Okay, and that's just real talk. Now we hear the young lady who spoke about being an entrepreneur. Now notice what she said, y'all. Well, my mama died, so I don't really have grandparents. Now, what the heck going on with her? Okay, what the heck going on with her? I don't really have grandparents. So your mama died. Did your grandparents die before your mama did? Now I'm gonna say that we can guess that reasonably, but the way she said, I can't guarantee that her grandparents, I can't even guarantee her grandparents died, and that made her say that. She just said, I don't really have grandparents. Don't your mama got some people? But see, your mama could have been hard-headed, and that might be why she did. I don't know. I ain't trying to put it on. I'm just saying. Mama could have been hard-headed. She may not even know who her grandparents is on her mama's side. But notice, there's nothing there going on with her father's side. She said, because my mama's dead, I don't really have grandparents. Okay? Her father's side didn't even come up in her mind. Just is what it is, y'all. Her father's side just did not come up in her mind. Okay? Shout out to No Placeholder. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. He says, morning, Roger. You're right. Stupidity is a choice. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Appreciate you saying that. Real talk. Appreciate you saying that. Okay? Now, I guess Positive Vibes, cares about this. But why? Now, I'm going to assume this is a she. She said, can you repeat that stat on what percentage of black women make 50K or less, please? Now, understand, this is not a stat I verified. This is what somebody presented. Okay, now, looking at where it come from, it should be a legitimate stat. I believe it said 40% of black women have less than 50K a year coming into the household. But you can hit the link that's in the description to verify exactly what she said. But I'm pretty sure that was it. I ain't verified. That's just something they put in there. I would assume it's correct based on the fact that you got a WNBA player in there, but that don't necessarily mean it's true. Okay? Don't necessarily mean it's true. My thing is you should verify stuff whenever you have a question about it. But the thing is, I don't care because when it comes down to it, those are women who probably not married. So who cares if they don't make 50K a year? So what? That's the whole thing. Shout out to Afro Merchant. He say they say 40%, but it's more like 70%. And Afro Merchant, that could very well be true because I've seen stats over time. So yeah, that could very well be true. Because they present stuff how they want to, and you got to listen to how they say words. When they say more than could mean any big leap. You never know what more than really represents at the end of the day. It could be a percentage point or two, or it could be a bunch of percentage points. That's how a lot of things are done with propaganda. And for people who at least want to be able to claim they told the truth. All right. Now, you got another young lady, you know, she's doing something that Black women do on a regular basis. Hey, I got something that I'm trying to push to help Black women. Black men ain't even a part of it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say I'm mad at her for doing that, and in some cases, it is good for women to push some stuff that's really only for women. But she didn't seem to be pushing something that's only for women. She's talking about finances and mental health and things like that. That's not like stuff that's relegated only for women. But Black women do stuff like this all the time. Okay? And the point is, they don't even see Black men as part of their group. They don't even see Black men as part of their group. Now, if you don't see Black men as part of your group, and I'm not saying they have to, because Lord knows I don't see most of them as part of my group. So I am not saying they have to. But see, this is the thing. A lot of people want to say, well, Black men need to be doing this and Black men need to be about this so they can help these people that ain't a part of my group. Screw these people. I don't care nothing about them. Okay? You're not in my group. You're not a part of my group. You don't represent my group. I don't feel guilty about you. You are the reason that we have a group of people that still look like they're matriarchal. You're the reason, because you are trying to make sure that the slave master program stays in place. And what do I mean by slave master program? Slave masters wanted people bowing down to the women because it was just far easier to have the women bow down to him. So we get everybody to bow down to the women bows down to him, everything good as far as they're concerned. So Black women love slave culture. And I'm saying love slave culture because look at the percentages of how they move. Look what percentage of Black women, based on how they move, they agree with slave culture. You can say I'm wrong, but the marriage numbers ain't there to support that I'm wrong. You can say I'm wrong, but enough children ain't being raised by fathers to show I'm wrong. You can say I'm wrong, but a lot of Black folks are, Black children especially, are not trained to even attempt Black excellence to prove I'm wrong. Black women love matriarchy because it's close to slave culture. Now, you may even have a leap that Black women want to be white people slaves again. You can even make that. I'm gonna say people will argue that it's a leap, but if you look at it logically, is it really that big of a leap? But let me share the flow with some of these folks up here. We got the Great Black Reset. He's first, and then we're gonna have Lena come in right after him. The Great Black Reset. You have the mic, my brother. How you doing? Is he talking?
Good morning today.
Okay, there you go. I was gonna say, is you talking?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I'm talking. Can you hear me? No, I said I'm gonna be a gentleman today. I'm gonna let the lady have it today.
Okay, we're gonna let Lena go first, y'all. All right, look at that. Look at the gentleman on the Roger Report Live. Appreciate that, brother. All right, Lena, you have the mic. How you doing, sister?
Good morning, Roger. Thank you, and thank you for letting me go first. I'll be
You're
brief.
welcome.
Just when you was mentioning the the Black women the stats, I was want to ask. I agree with it, but I feel like it's more. It's like it's more women, Black women who seem to make less. Because I wanted Black women to make more, but I promise you, what I make feel like 40K. 50K. It feel like 50K or less what I make. Depending, my expenses or whatever that month or that year. And I also feel like two household income, it would increase the income of the household. I think patriarchy is a good thing, and I think Black men can do it. I just think that it's just so much damage that has been done by so many women trying to raise boys to be men, and difficult. I don't think that they could, we can't do it effectively. I mean, I thank God, like, I have an active, father, my child has an active father in their life, but I had a daughter. It's different than living in, like, have a man living in the house. I think I couldn't produce a man. So it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know what the next generation will bring, because I would like it to switch from matriarchy to patriarchy, but it's just that it's so much damage being done. How are we going to prepare the next generation for it?
All right. Well, I'm gonna say, and this ain't to hurt you. It's just keeping it real. People like you got to stop. I mean, you just said you got a daughter, but your daughter ain't living with with their father. People like you are the problem. What you gonna do about it? Now, I'm not saying that for you to answer right now. I'm just saying that's something people like you need to think about. You the one creating the problem. You the one got the daughter who ain't living with their father. That's a you problem. And you make it a community problem. So I'm not saying say nothing right now. Just think about that, because this ain't me attacking you. This is just me keeping it real. A lot of women will say that exactly what you said, but y'all doing the very thing to push the problem forward. What am I supposed to do about your choice to push the problem forward? It's kind of what you're asking me, but I'm not finna say nothing about it right now. I'm finna let the Great Black Reset get in. And I do want you to think about that. If you want to answer that, if you think you can answer it, sure, give us something. And if you can't answer, just be like, nah, I really can't answer that, So just take a moment and think about that, because you're the person pushing the problem forward. You
I
literally have a
understand
child being raised without the father being in the home, which is part of the problem. So no,
I
don't
agree.
answer right now, because I don't want you to answer
Oh,
no
I
spur
thought
of the
you said
moment.
that's
Just
I
say
could
anything that came ahead.
answer. Oh, no, I wasn't. I thought about it. I mean, I could, think about it in more in depth later,
What
but
I'm saying, just hold fast. Let me let the Great Black Reset get in, and
okay,
then we'll
yes,
come
sir.
back to you. Great Black Reset, you have the floor, my brother. Now, is he playing games? The Great Black Reset, are you there? Okay, maybe he's involved in something right now. Because I don't see him on mute, but I don't hear nothing. Okay, I don't think that's my audio. All right, let's do this then. Shout out to the Revelator. He is in the building. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. He says, and you're running out of stepfather candidates. Okay, you're running out of stepfather candidates. I'm gonna say the Revelator is correct, because there's a lot more men who are just not going to be stepfathers because it's just not in their DNA, as you would say. They just ain't trying to do it. And they've already seen so many other stepfathers fall from other women with children. And regardless of what women think, y'all, when you a man watching other stepfathers get raked through the coals, don't make you want to be a stepfather. It just don't happen that way. You don't want to be a stepfather. Now, shout out to Floyd Thompson. Shout out to you, my brother. He says hashtag 75 unmarried matriarch. Looks like DoorDasher, I guess you meant threat, brought my Waffle House on the B day. I was definitely closed though. Hashtag sexual assault charges for me. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Yeah, that woman that they kind of been referring to her as the DoorDash girl, y'all, that I recently covered. She has put in a non-guilty plea. I don't know if anything has actually happened since then. Okay. I believe we gotta wait for her next court date to see what's gonna happen. I think all she did last court date was just go in, put in a non-guilty plea, which just happened a few days ago, basically, or not that long ago. So I don't think anything's coming up new from that particular story. I see my main man Compassionate and Callis has joined us. I don't know if he was trying to join us in the background, because it looked like he done came up, because sometimes he just in the back, but sometimes he gonna pop up. So, brother, looks like you done popped up. Are you trying to get out here and make an opening statement, my brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, then go right ahead, and I'm gonna step out for a quick moment, y'all, to try to adjust my audio, because y'all sound low to me, but I think that's me. But go ahead, Compassion.
Yep. Yeah, appreciate you bringing me up. What's up to the panel, to the chat? Yeah. I guess should we continue to operate as a matriarchy or patriarchy? Um, yeah, if I just take my emotions out of it, no, obviously. Well, from my point of view, obviously not. It's not really functional, and it's not really a matriarchy. We can go into the specifics of what that is, because matriarchies really don't exist in modern times. So, your camera on, Great Reset. But no, we should not. And I honestly, if we have to, if the Black community must continue to exist operating as a matriarchy, I don't think we should exist. I agree with Ed Anderson on that. I'm not gonna participate in a waste of time, because that's essentially what a matriarchy is. Black women like to play with matrifocality and matriarchy and power as if it really means anything in the grand scheme of things, and it doesn't. So I'm not gonna waste my life on that. If the Black community has to be a matriarchy, it don't need to exist. Darwinism need to take it out, because it's not it's not useful for human societies at scale. And if Black women really don't understand that, which it kind of seems like they don't want to have to accept that, because that would mean, I guess, they couldn't have the power they want, then that's cool. Then they can go extinct. And that's how I feel. I'll land my plane on that. But by the way, since Roger ain't here, why it's really not a matriarchy? Because for it to be a true kosher matriarchy, what we require is Black women would have to have control over coercive force, military, police, and they kind of do. They just kind of use white people's structure to have coercive force. They would have to dominate political leadership. They kind of do dominate political leadership in Black America. I'll give them that. I think what's the statistic? I think it's like 2 out of 3 Black politicians are female, like from at the state and federal levels and local levels. They would have to control economic surplus. Black women don't earn as much money as Black men, so we have to debate if they control economic surplus. So I think Black men still technically have control over the economic surplus of the Black community. They would have to set legitimizing myths that justify female dominance. Now, I will say that Black women do, because they have control over the children. Black America allows Black women to establish the legitimizing myths amongst us as a culture. That mama's the backbone of the community. She tried her best. A lot of the myths we get, dad abandoned, all the Black father just abandoned loving Black women or just threw away their duty. Those are the myths of the Black community, and Black women get to set those. So I guess that would suffice. And then lastly, they would have to sustain a dominance across generations, which technically they do. Technically, they've maintained the gynocracy and the matriarchy across generations pretty effectively. Historians say that all of those principles have never been met in the society of women. Technically, it hasn't, because Black women are backed by white men. So it's not as though Black women we're a kosher through and through matriarchy by definition, because it's not really possible for women to have all of these together in a natural environment. Black women have a lot of these, though. They have they have a lot of the pillars required to have a matriarchy. So technically, we do operate as a matriarchy, if you want to be nice, but technically we're a gynocracy. But I'll just land and let somebody else talk.
Well, a lot of folks don't really understand certain things, and you got to present stuff in a way that the masses will get it.
Yeah.
So, but shout out to you for doing that breakdown. Great back reset, who could have jumped in while I was off air trying to get my situation straight, who just didn't jump in and make Compassion have to do all that extra talking. I don't know what's up, bro. I thought you was part of the team, but hey, it is what it is. But you do have the flow now, brother. You got the flow now.
Yeah, I think you having technical issues. We can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, y'all. And I'm just joking about what's going on with him. I don't think he's doing anything on purpose, but he must be having some
Mike,
technical issues.
mic check, mic check. Is
Okay,
my
yeah,
mic clear?
we hear you now, brother. We hear you now, brother.
All right. I'm gonna leave by this. Don't ever move to Alabama. They got the worst cell phone towers in America. Oh my God! Every time I come to Alabama, I have this issue. Um, two. The I watch these videos that you posted. I like to say this: black women need to stop taking advice from other black women. They give some of the poorest advice I have ever heard. This foolishness about being entrepreneurs and being single mothers and being an entrepreneur and how tough it is. And why are you complaining about that when all you got to do is be with the father of the child? I don't know what black man out there does not want to be involved in the child's life. So when I hear these women complaining about how tough it is to be single mothers, like I hear you complaining about something you chose. This is ridiculous. It's just not that difficult, and there's not that many black men that truly don't want to be involved in their child's life when the mother is not making it difficult. And that's not to say all. Um, as far as black men qualifying or allowing women to qualify for them, black men need to know and understand. This is something you and I talk about, Roger, and I'm gonna land after this. All productive black men, I don't care if you work at McDonald's for $15 an hour, all productive black men qualify to be husbands. Any woman that says you don't qualify because of what kind of job you have or how much money you make, she's just unworthy. She's just unworthy. Every black man that I know that's married will work his butt off, get 2 jobs if he had to, so his wife doesn't have to work hard. It is so simple, man. Women need to understand that men are willing to give their lives to make your life as comfortable as possible. And in return, we just want y'all to make us comfortable when we come home. That's all you got to do. And I'm going to land my plane there.
Okay, all right. Well, we have a creator has joined us, y'all. So I'm gonna just go ahead and give him the mic. And Lena, if you've been thinking about that question, we're gonna come right back to you after I get him in and any other new guy if any more pop up. But creator, you got the mic, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Roger?
Doing fantastic, brother.
What up, great minister Lena? Brothers. What kind of sandwich is that? All right, so I'm all about patriarchy, and right now we are under WP patriarchy, right? So patriarchy will always run things. It just is what it is. I didn't make this up. For whatever reason, the fallacy will always rule. However, we are in a country where there are liberties, right? Not freedoms, liberties. And because we're in such a protected state right now, then we can have the liberty to speak on what matriarchy is, right? And the women have the liberty to express themselves on what matriarchy is. Like if we go to Arab countries, we know that's not the case. If we go to a lot of Islamic countries, we understand that that is not the case. It is straight up patriarchy wherever you go. But however, America is like, hey, you know what? We'll because we need to make money and we need to keep everybody happy. And we understand that a lot of men, especially black men, don't want to participate in a matriarchal way of doing things, i.e. jobs, certain type of jobs, i.e. certain type of educational institution, i.e. certain type of entertainment institutions. Just some black men just don't want to participate in that. And I'm not going to argue with no woman or no man about nothing. So black men have, to a degree, have kind of digressed, kind of just backed up, and we'll let y'all play that game. Because the thing about men is we men, right? We can build. We can go off and pretty much do whatever it is. I haven't yet to see any woman in any society, any women, and I love women, especially my black women. I mean, the most gorgeous, the most full-bodied, talented, blessed woman on the face of this planet, unless we got somewhere else. I love them, I do. But when they participate in this feminism thing, in this white patriarchy, right, this way of doing things, it blinds them, and they don't understand that this is a freedom. It's a blind liberty, right? It means somebody offered that to you, and you taking it, because if at any point they say, you know what, we don't want you in our jobs no more, what institutions have you built for yourself to fall back on, right? If we don't want you in our educational spaces anymore, they can just say, you know what, we don't want you here anymore. What educational institutions do you have to fall back on? So it always happens. It's just like even in marriages, when a woman decides that she want to get a divorce and figures out, damn, you know what, that might not have been the best decision for me. It's like you betting on your BBL and your fake boobies and, you know, those things to get you ahead in life. And then one day those grades start popping out a little more harsher and a little more faster than what you think. That skin start to sagging a little bit, and then you start to think, dang, you know what, I think I may have made a decision that was harsh to not only my future, but the detriment of our family and our community. So yeah, black patriarchy is in order. And as the minutes go on, we're going to express to you what that looked like.
Okay, glad you stopped, because shout out to Shark Sense. What happened to the 2 minutes? Yeah, y'all, let's keep the opening statement to 2 minutes. If you here by yourself, sure, you can go a little bit longer, y'all. But if we got other people here, let's keep it to the 2 minutes. Okay, let's keep it to the 2 minutes. Real talk, you know, no matter how profound what you're saying is, okay, keep it to the 2 minutes once you see other people here. Shout out to Floyd Thompson. Appreciate you big time, my brother. Floyd Thompson says, black women exclude the black men side of the family all the time. They only like mom if she's on their side. Hashtag thanks. Hashtag what's this? Hashtag patriarchs kick butt. Hashtag D Staley feel good advice. Hashtag freedom for you. And also shout out to my main man Gold P, who hit me on the Cash App. He says paying them trail and shark Sims tax. Appreciate it. And he dropped $5.95 on the Trail Bentley and Shark Sims tax. So shout out to Shark Sims and Trail Bentley for giving me that tax. Appreciate you big time. All y'all. Appreciate you big time. But we now have Truth Teller who done came up. And see, that's why I said Lena, when they stop covering up, you know, we'll get right back to you. All right, but Truth Teller done came up. So Truth Teller, what you got on this, brother?
Well, first off, Roger, I got to give you your praise. I watched all of the videos, and you know, came up on the first one. I was like, oh, it's one of these. Then you know, you hit the second one. The brother was spitting some knowledge. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So I thought it was going to get progressively better, but then I watched the other videos afterwards. It basically went downhill immediately. And when I say downhill immediately, it wasn't a slope that nobody was skiing down. Somebody literally just jumped and it just went straight to the ground. So there's a lot of problems in all of those videos. But you know, Roger, you saved the last one as best. That was probably the worst of the bunch of that video. So, Roger, I'm going to drop something on you tomorrow when I get paid, Roger, because I don't know how you can watch all of this stuff and still keep your sanity, player. So I'm going to bless you tomorrow when the paycheck roll in. Because that was just absurd. That was absurd.
I appreciate that. Now I say the last two I kind of had saved because I had that I got these tucked away. I'm gonna use it for a future show. Them first three was just, let me pull up this subject matter and I'm using the first three that pop up, and that's just how it came. And then that fourth one was just right after that, so I was like, let me stick that one in too. So yeah, that's just random Black America, y'all. I didn't do anything to put it in any order. I just put it as they came, and that's what came up, you know. So
I feel like you intentionally made us suffer, bro. I was no, bro.
If you don't mind, Raj, you have to let me play this. And you got the, I didn't watch all your shorts, but I don't think you got this one. I think this one's gonna trigger y'all the worst. If you don't mind me playing.
No. Okay, well, yeah, whatever.
Oh, you finna give us some more PTSD. That's just what we need up here.
Y'all just trying to build monsters at this point, man. It's not even. That's just trying to build monsters.
You go ahead, brother.
Yep.
The funniest things to me is how much patriarchy has the black community in the chokehold, when in reality, our family and community structure is a matriarchy. And there's gonna be a whole bunch of niggas saying that I'm lying and women can't lead, but please shut the fuck up. Your granny is the head of the family, bro. And it's not funny, but it's sad that y'all are just this willfully obtuse, bro. That's literally the oppressor whispering in your ear, dog. You know what I'm saying? And you need to dismantle that and dissect it and deal with that in your own time and not make the rest of us suffer for your own active ignorance and stupidity. And it's crazy to me that Black women are our literal lifeline. They have led food into our mouth. They have led clothes on our backs. They have led a roof over our head. Like, what more can folks even ask for, dog? The best way to describe Black women in the Black community is they are like the Illuminati or the Akatsuki of the Black community. They have allowed Black men to live in this illusion of power that helps sustain our egos as we deal with white men, when they are the ones handling the real business in the background, and just allotted us this illusion of power just to keep the peace. And there's gonna be a lot of little meat men that's gonna get in the comments saying that I'm simping and I'm pandering and all this other stuff, but I can tell that you don't read, and I can tell you're one of the children that should have got left behind. And it's sad whenever I make a video talking about like misogyny, patriarchy, you know, protecting women, respecting women, all that different type of things, and I'm getting comments saying thank you, like, you know, I appreciate it and all, but that's the bare minimum, bro. I don't know how the rest of these dudes grew up, but I grew up in a family that's 90% women, 10% men. I'm like one of 5 men born.
We can tell. We can tell. We can tell.
Women that are born in my family.
Oh my God.
Any idea of how the women in my family are? Go watch The Woman King. Go watch Black Panther. No, I'm not exaggerating. Me and my sister's relationship is literally like Shuri's and T'Challa's. My aunt and my cousins be moving like the Dora Milaje. They will beat your ass, and I have seen them beat people's ass. They beat my ass. I've seen them whoop plenty of men's ass up and down the street.
We can tell.
My mom and my grannies are like, you know, Viola Davis in The Woman King, bro. This is not an exaggeration, dog. I can tell stories. I don't really have a choice, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm being held hostage. I love it over here, but
no, you said it right the first time. You don't really got a choice.
Just go out here and just disrespect the women. When every time I see another Black woman, they remind me of one of my aunts, my cousin, my sister, my granny. Like, you know what I'm saying? That like that just don't make no type of sense to me. And then to sit here and lie to myself like they're not the ones in our community with the real power, it's just fucking insane. It's just blatant stupidity.
This Santana. That's Santana right there. You ain't gonna tell me nothing else. That is
don't say that about Santana.
That's Santana.
The only thing I agree with is that
I cannot allow. Hold on. I cannot allow y'all to attack my other panelists, man. Y'all leave Santana alone, okay? Y'all leave. He is a beloved panelist over here. He come, he get on the mic, he do his thing. We is not gonna be attacking my brother, okay? He at least come and at least say something. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna attack my brother over there, okay?
Well,
I agree with one thing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know Santana had dreads. I'm gonna say that. That's it.
I agree with only one thing he said though, like, because it's kind of true with my family. To a certain extent, my grandmother was like the matriarch. Like my grandfather, when he was alive, he held it, but when he passed, she held the family down. She was the matriarch of the family. The family ran under her. So I understood.
Can I ask you a quick question about that? How successful was your family after she was running?
It was pretty. I say it was pretty successful till she died. Then after she died, it fell apart. But it was successful while she was alive. Like I wasn't a single mother when she was alive. I better not do that while she was alive. I didn't have a kid after she had passed. And I knew I couldn't do that with my grandfather alive either. And then, you know, everybody got an education while she was alive. Like her kids, just about all of them had degrees. Only one that didn't, but he still was successful. I mean, he started his own business. So
you don't have to give us an exact number, but how many of her children were married? Approximately. Was it most? Was it some? Was it half and half?
Half and half. It's kind of don't count because her 2 daughters died. I'm one of the children of her daughter died at 32.
Gotcha.
And then my other aunt, low key, she had 1 baby, but you know she died too in her 20s. You know she had a heart defect that went undetected, but also she was really the L word. That's what we found out. She was the L word.
So there was a patriarch in the home or establish legacy first, which is what the patriarchs are going to do. And the women can only watch, right? Can only watch what the master example is. Usually the apex example is not a woman, right? And if it is, then it's going to have to come from a man, right? Even though if there's no man around, they still have to get that information somewhere down that line is going to come from a man.
Well, created, I'm gonna say amen, yeah, but which man? Because let's be realistic. What the young brother just said in that last clip, that compassionate brought up, and I'm gonna say shout out to Mrs. E. Obviously, Mrs. E was showing that at his show, but you know, the one, I mean, literally the first thought I had was, man, this boy ain't got no daddy. That was literally the first thought I had when I was listening to this dude talk. So at
You
the
ain't
end
the
of the
only
day,
one. You ain't the only one, right?
and then I adjusted it. I said, no, I ain't gonna call him no boy. I understand he was a boy that was raised without a father. You know what I'm saying? I said, now he's just a grown man who, well, I didn't say grown. I said, now he's a man who clearly was not raised with a father.
You said it in the clip, Rod. You said my family is 90% women.
What? I figured that out way before he got to that part in the clip. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that was my instant thought.
He was confirming it at that point.
Yeah, because and my thing is this: I try not to make fun of men who weren't raised by their daddy and didn't have no real communication, because technically, it's not even their fault. You know what I'm saying? That was their mama doing them bogus for the most part. You know what I'm saying? It's rare that you're not going to be raised by your father unless you have a no good mama. That's a very rare thing. Your mama's was, at least she's not up to no good, at least at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because people can't change, but your mama's pretty much up to no good if your daddy ain't raising.
Let me push back on that, Roger. We must make fun of this nigga, and I'm gonna tell you why. He is out here propagating this foolishness to the world.
You have a point.
He's responsible for that for that propaganda at this point. We must make fun of this nigga. This nigga's up here bragging about he used to get his ass whooped by girls. And he proud of that.
Proudly.
As a grown man. He up here talking about how violent the women are in his family and how they be kicking ass and all of that. And he proud of that. No, we must make fun of this nigga. He responsible. He's old enough to be responsible. He actually shot that video, watched it, and said, yeah, this is good to post.
Confidently.
Must make fun of this nigga.
Now, when you put all that into it, I can't argue with none of that at the end of the day. And I'm going to say it is sad that he felt that way. And I'm sitting there thinking like, bro, if you got into it with me, you could have brought your sister. We'd have beat the brakes off your sisters. And guess what? I don't think my sisters would have been involved. We're not calling out women to fight. We calling men to fight. Now, if you show up with a gang of women and I show up with a gang of dudes, it's going to be what it's going to be. But I don't think y'all winning that one. I really don't believe y'all going to win. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk.
I done seen a lot of things in my lifetime. I ain't never seen no gang of women whoop no gang of men. Not no gang of boys.
I've seen a handful of women try to jump a boy and regretted it for the rest of their life. So I don't know where he came from, but
we at the point now where matriarchy is so entrenched. Like that, he probably Generation Z. If not like really, really young millennial. He looked like he's Generation Z. He under 30.
That's why I'm saying it's freedom. That's a freedom.
What we got to, and he talked about patriarchy. What we got to just accept as black men is we ain't never really seen no patriarchy in the black community.
Yeah, we have.
He's accepted matriarchy because it's like a water and fish. It's like a fish and water. Matriarchy is all most living black American males know. We have never seen. Matriarchies have males in them. Just because you got males or a daddy even in the house, don't mean you in a patriarchy. Most black men have not experienced. So I'm expecting that from more and more. He a good example of what I would imagine most black men thought process on this is.
Yeah. And I'm
just saying though. Sorry, go ahead, Roger.
No, I was gonna say shout out to the Revelator. Appreciate the super sticker, my brother. Appreciate the super sticker. And you go ahead and make your point, then I'll come after you.
I was just gonna say, my pride, even if that was my lifestyle when I grew up, My pride wouldn't let me say that publicly. I wouldn't go on YouTube and say, yeah, hey, whoop my ass and what many do.
Come on, man.
I wouldn't present that. I'm just saying it would be
That's
You
my
gotta
own
tell the
personal
truth,
secret.
truth. You got to tell the truth, truth.
that's
I'm gonna lie in that case. I'm
gotta-
gonna lie. Absolutely.
See, truth, you an expert. So you got a model of masculinity and manhood that's a little, at least different. That's a Z. He never seen Jim Brown. He ain't never seen strong black masculinity or any semblance of patriarchy. I'll argue even you extra niggas didn't grow up in no real patriarchy.
Yeah, well, and I'm gonna say, just to add to that, I don't think he was allowed to watch something like that. All this, all the women that he was around, you say 90% of the same women, he probably wasn't even allowed to watch a man be a man.
He was watching Girlfriends and Touched by an Angel.
Hallmark Channel, he was doing all of that.
I was a little kid watching stuff like He-Man and Thundercats and whatnot, G.I. Joe. This dude was watching Strawberry Shortcake. Why? Because that's what his sisters wanted to see. So that's what I think going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got 2 more guests that done came up. So let me get these guests in. We got no placeholder. He gonna get the mic, and then we're gonna give it to Floyd Thompson immediately after no placeholder. Floyd, don't let them bully you, man. You get that mic right after no placeholder stop. Don't let them jump you. Okay.
Damn, not the purple pie, man.
Go ahead, no placeholder. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Roger. Good morning, you truth tellers. Compassionate up here. I see you, and we got Kev up here.
Yo.
Floyd as well. Good morning. So,
Good morning, brother.
Yes, good morning. I wanted to speak on the video. I've actually partake. I'm very comfortable in the morning here. So, yeah, the first video I want to speak on is the one with the young brother that mentioned those stats where he was talking about like the effect of fatherlessness. Like these things are crazy. One of the stats say like 90% of homelessness, 90% of child homelessness come from fatherless home. 90%. This is craziness. And so that in itself just blew my mind. And I also want to speak on the young lady that the last video. Very attractive young black lady, by the way. Well spoken. You can see she's quite educated. She got a tiny little nose ring in there. That's her way of saying that she's on board, but not blatantly on board. And her disposition kind of actually, her suggestions actually kind of indicate that, because in her first 3 free advice out of 75, they were all economic advice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not even about anything about family, communities, all of this. It's just really the same platitude. And even Don Stanley's video, the same platitude. It's just basically like do what the corporations say and become a slave to the corporation, and that's how you basically escape. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and then that video right there, the compassion to talk about, I only have one statement to make about that. He said Akatsuki. I'm like, dude, how, like, you made a Naruto reference and literally talk about S-class ninjas and S-class shinobis, and then you reference black women. Like, just that alone makes him silly. Anyway, I end with that.
All right, real quick, y'all. I want to say shout out to the Revelator. He asked me to read this, and he said, and she rebelled after her grandmother died. Now, I think he was actually speaking to Lena on that one. Now, Lena done jumped down at this point, but Lena, if you want to come back up and address this, you can, because I'm going to assume he was speaking about the fact that you said you became a single mother after your grandmother died. Because if your grandfather was respected and then your grandmother respected him, even though he died first, then y'all wasn't pulling certain stuff. But once she gone, I don't know what happened in the family, but and based on how you said it, I guess respect was not there for their children, meaning your parents' generation. The respect didn't seem to be there based on how you presented what you said. So I guess maybe he was the last patriarch, and then the women took over at that particular point. And it could have been a numbers thing in your particular family. We want to run this clip one more time, y'all, with this fine gentleman here.
No.
Okay. Yeah. No, I want to hear everything he said for real. You know what I'm saying? Just run it one more time with this fine young man. Why? Because now when we look at them and we look at how young he is, we gotta take into account he's just an avatar for a bunch of other people who feel the exact same way, who did get whooped on by girls, and girls do run them.
I'm ashamed.
You know, and they're
I'm ashamed of this
proud
brother.
of the fact that girls run them. It's one thing to get beat up by a girl. It's a different thing to be proud you were beat up by
That's
a girl.
abuse. That
You know,
ain't beat up. That was abuse, brother. Assault.
Well, I want to really listen to the story because he started attacking other people. So the way I looked at it, if I was in his face, he would attack me because I had a daddy. That's where it came off to me. I just want to make sure he's saying some of the stuff that I believe he's saying, because it sounds like he mad at me for having a daddy. You know what I'm saying? He talking about your grandmama raised you. Well, my grandma didn't raise us, not on either side. Okay, I know who my granddaddy is. I'm just saying. Okay, not my mother's my mother's father. I'm talking about my dad's father. I know my granddaddy. So I don't know if he got one like that. I don't know if he got that other granddaddy.
I can't wait till Black Guru get up here. I can't wait.
He was coming, but he jumped down. So he might have had to do something. But we got him, and we got Floyd Thompson that I need to get in. So let's play. Floyd, go ahead and get your word in before we play it. Because I did say something about you not letting these other people take your spot. So Floyd, get in there, and then we'll play the video right after Floyd if Black Guru ain't back yet.
Roger, play the video first. That's my comments.
Okay, all right. Let's examine what he's saying, y'all. Not just react. Let's listen and examine the stuff he is saying.
Roll that beautiful KY footage.
Funny, bro. It's not funny, but it's sad that y'all are just this willfully obtuse, bro. That's literally the oppressor whispering in your ear, dog. You know what I'm saying? And you need to dismantle that and dissect it and deal with that in your own time and not make the rest of us suffer for your own active ignorance and stupidity. And it's crazy to me that Black women are our literal lifeline. They have led food into our mouth. They have led clothes on our backs. They have led a roof over our head. Like, what more can folks even ask for, dog? The best way to describe Black women in the Black community is they are like the Illuminati or the Akatsuki of the Black community. They have allowed Black men to live in this illusion of power that helps sustain our egos as we deal with white men, when they are the ones handling the real business in the background.
Wow.
You heard that Akatsuki reference, right? If anybody watched Naruto, you understand how powerful Akatsuki's are.
And you know what? I'm trying to really put myself mentally to get where he's coming from, because he said Black women his lifeline, and that's how
crazy.
He accepts it. That's how he accepts it. And my thing is, he don't, at his age, to not see Black women is the reason you got so little. Because if your daddy would have been there, you'd have got more than what you got. It was a Black woman that cut you off from what you could have had. But I was going to say, let's let Floyd get in here and do his thing.
Oh, do you think, Floyd?
Peace at the panel and chat. Thanks for having me up, Roger. Long live the Bridge Line Steppers. I know you said we're going to stop using these two-letter words for these describing these dudes, but I want to put bitch ass in front of those two letters that we're not supposed to use. If this is probably a video I would have to put down immediately without prejudice on the street. And let all the women watch as they get beat too, because they're going to be trying to defend him, or he'll jump up if he's want to try to defend them on some BS and get put in the dirt. These are the dangerous ones. And Don Staley is probably a relative. And then 75, Top Girl is probably one of his cousins that used to beat on his ass. But front flex like, oh, I love Black men. No, you don't. You never hear these Black women say anything about these Black husbands who they look up to. Never say anything about their wives. Bill and Camille Codd. I won't say it. Oh, Angela Bassett, her husband. They don't use them as positive examples. They want to use the Carmelo Anthony's and what's her name? The other chick that be on. Yeah. They want to use them as examples. Will and Jada, they borderline still dysfunctional too. But the women are trying to exit out and not knowing on the switch. Yeah, subconsciously that fell into the trap of keeping us pushed away for my kids. You have more, like you said, Roger. You have more if you communicate it more. You have more if you let the patriarchy do its job. I've been in matriarchal situations, been married. Those don't work. I told the women that it's supposed to be head of the family. This is a total dysfunction. You love the girl, love everything under the sun, but the boys, you treat them like they stole all your funds and your life savings. Want to put kids out at 10 years old because they don't want to eat what you want them to eat, knowing they're allergic to it, but you don't care. It's a society now where love on the girls until they become competition. Throw the boys' asses under the bus throughout all steps, unless a black woman co-signs the fact that he's a scholar or he's going to be something. Now you hold on to the coattail, or he's going to be a good athlete. Then you hold on to the boy's coattail in the hopes of riding him out until he can produce something to bring back to you later on in life. Not really loving on the boys. That's where we're at with these women today. I'll land my plane. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Can I give Floyd props? Floyd, the first part of your statement where you eased into calling somebody a bitch ass could actually be said in an HR exit interview before you get fired. So listen, and you said it, and I took it. I actually said it to myself, and I didn't feel offended by any means. So that was a smooth way of calling somebody a bitch ass. I'm sorry, Lord. You gotta get points. You gotta get points for that, sir. That was awesome.
Hey,
Thanks, bro.
boy, if I'm chasing something, I know I'm not gonna put it. It's just it's just crazy, man, because we all have to go through this. But he young, and so the fact that he said he got all women around him, and I do gotta. I don't know what the situation is on why there was no man. Why you a man yourself, and why you not bigging up no man around you, right? You had to give all honor, not being the only man who know how to manage all these women around you. See, that would have been the testimony on that matriarchy actually raising him to understand his leadership role as a man. So that just show you how they train in this young man and how selfish the indoctrination is, right? He's not training him on the greatness of him and being a man with a rod, right, that they'll never have. Instead, is using him as a tool, right, to further the agenda of matriarchy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yeah, we got Black Rule done came up and Usual Business done came up. I got to get them in. So Black Rule, you got the Elder Purpose, go right ahead, and then we'll get Usual Business right after Black Rule.
Hey, Roger, let me do a mic check. Please confirm that
You sound great, brother. You sound great.
You live, bro. You live.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Black Rule. My bad. Shout out to stepbrother Dryer. I guess Repay. I don't know. I guess that stepbrother Dryer Repair. I guess that's what that's supposed to be, but it's kind of cut off on my end. He says this man is demonstrating healthy masculinity. Love it. And I'm just going to assume that because I think I know who that is. And I think that he is being sarcastic in what he's saying right now. That's what my honest belief is. He's saying that being sarcastic, talking about the guy in the video. That's what I believe is happening. But go ahead, Black Guru.
Yeah. This is like, imagine you're a lifeguard and there are numerous people who are drowning, and you have to make a split decision about who might be easier for you to rescue and who you may have to sadly witness drown. I regret that the gentleman that is being presented here sadly might fit in the latter category. But that's going to be the toughest part for a lot of enlightened Black men to deal with. How there are some of us who are too far out into the ocean, and we'd end up killing ourselves trying to rescue that person. He has so much indoctrination, so much you must unravel to even get to the possibility. The only thing, my view is, the only chance he probably has of seeing the light is that some woman does him in the worst ways possible, like in the very worst ways possible. And then it forces him to not only look critically at that woman and look critically, but also look as critically of himself and how he got there. And then he'd have to look back at that gang of women that raised him and was all around him. And then he'd have to ask, well, yeah, why aren't there any men around me who would have trained me to prevent myself from being done over by this woman? That's probably the only chance a young man like him has to possibly get on the road to revelation. I could talk a lot about a lot of the other stuff that Roger has wonderfully presented here, but I had to speak on this guy coming in.
All right, and usual business. You got the flow. Usual business. You get not? No, he's still there. Yeah, we hear you now. We hear you now.
Like I said earlier, this is the simple case of, like I've been saying, man. You gotta be willing to sacrifice bodies. Black men as a collective are not ready to, walk over bodies. Me personally, I am. That boy as a sacrifice to white to the world.
Your audio breaking up, bro.
Might go in and out, brother.
Yeah, you trash
Oh,
right
my
now,
headset.
man.
Give me a second. I'm gonna have to come back. Yeah, I come with my headset.
Let me say this, because I think I agree. But one thing we got to know, he was right in one of his assessments, which is what makes this whole diatribe kind of confusing, because he's being honest.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, hold on. Let me finish this point, usual. Then I'll let you go, because I'm gonna forget it. One thing he was right about his assessment is that black women are the Illuminati of the black community, and that they actually manage a facade of patriarchy, so black men feel as though they're in some sort of position of power. That was actually true. His assessment of that, his conclusion was weird. That assessment of that reality, his conclusion was like he was satisfied with. Okay, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be in some way. But he was right in saying that black women basically maintain a facade of patriarchy that allows older black men than him, men that think they run their households and shit, to believe that they're patriarchy. That was actually correct, and he said that.
Yeah, and before you go use it, let me get this out the way too. Shout out to Elder Blood. He says that young black man is a classic example of the plantation-made matriarchal slave. These offsprings, along with master halflings, have kept FBA catatonic. That's powerful statement there, y'all. Powerful statement right there. Black, you was about to say something, and after you, I'm gonna give it back to usual business.
Well, I have I don't know if it's a rebuttal to what Compassionate is saying. I guess I maybe have a question of clarification, because I don't really see much. Look, if we were having this conversation 20, 30 years ago, I would agree. I think in terms of the existence of this facade of a patriarchy, I hardly see any facade at all of a patriarchy in current black life. I mean, you can go throughout churches, you can go throughout businesses, you can go throughout schools, you can go throughout neighborhoods, whole families, family reunions, and you don't see any men of any notable presence, much less actually appearing to run anything or being in any sort of figurehead position. You'll go to maybe like a family reunion and you'll see like, a few, if they're lucky enough to be around long enough, a couple of maybe octogenarian brothers who have this sort of emeritus status, emeritus being sort of formal, former leadership status, and they're kind of honored somewhat, you know, uh, um, superficially honored, right? But there's no real men actually even appearing to run much of anything today that I see.
No, I
At
would agree
all.
with that. You know what I would agree with that
Yeah.
assessment. You know what the retort would be by someone like this young man, and even there's content creators in the space I won't mention because they haven't been here, that push back against the notion that we are matriarchal based on one premise. And when they look at the earnings or basically income statistic, they'll say black men make more money than black women, or essentially control the money in the black community based on the fact that they earn it more, and that itself proves that they're occupying some patriarchal
Well,
status.
but that's a fallacious, very fallacious conclusion, because black women are so highly supplemented by alternative sources of
Say
funds
that
and
again.
resources that the higher earnings of black men don't materially impact leverage within most
And you would
black
be
communities.
100% right, but that's you going behind the narrative. Those going into the numbers. The narrative, though, is that on the surface, black men have the money, so they must control the families and the communities. That's how black women would prove
That would
that
be a
yes,
lie.
we're a patriarchy. You earn more than me. I earn $75 on the cent or
Well,
whatever.
that's only if you can get them to admit that black men actually out earn them, because most black women ain't gonna even say that. They're gonna say black women out earning black men. But I got to put a quick pause in here because Views with Business was supposed to be able to get in. So I'm just gonna say this real quick and get it to him. Shout out to stepbrother Dryer Repair. He says black woman was right. What compassion and callous meant is they brainwashed the men into believing that they are maintaining a facade of patriarchy with no tangible evidence.
Yes.
And I think that's a good statement to bring both of y'all points together. But usual business, I want to hear from you, brother. Go ahead.
All right. I got a video out called the Blue Pill Genjutsu, right, which is a Naruto reference. Which basically means to put somebody under, Genjutsu is basically an illusion. This man has been under illusion for, I think, for like the last, I look like 20 years of his life.
All his life.
Yeah, all his
All his
life, right?
life.
And I guess basically when you kind of figure out necessarily, well, eventually he will figure out that the life that he living is an illusion. And when that necessarily is going to happen, he's going to shatter this dude's reality. And shattering people's reality is usually not too good, especially when people built their whole life around it. I mean, it's so funny. Like literally everything he's kind of describing is literally what I put in my own videos. The Kokoski reference is secret organization of people who who are technically trying to destroy the world. What are black women doing? Secret organization of women. I don't think I say secretly, but working against black men to destroy the black community. So it's literally one for one. I mean, he's pretty much literally describing his reality. He's just saying it from the opposite team. That man is he's in a deep genjutsu. Like I keep saying, check out my video again, the Blue Pill Genjutsu. Because Lord knows this man he's far in there, but he
Do you really think, based on what you're saying, do you think his reality, because this is the odd way he putting it. It don't sound like he's lying to himself. It's almost like he's accepting the dominance of the matriarchy. So I don't think his reality
no.
on a fiction. He's just accepted. I'm a subordinate in this high.
Yeah, part of the illusion is also quote unquote accepting the reality of it. You know what I mean? Like it's like I can't quote unquote give you you can't put somebody in an illusion that they quote unquote getting eaten by gummy bears, right? You know what I mean? The best illusions almost have a little bit of truth in it. So when he may say my auntie may be running stuff, he may be right. His auntie may be running stuff because who knows what his auntie is doing to get that money though. We don't know how many OnlyFans his auntie probably got to maintain that bitch. You know what I mean? So like for me, I understand like he probably is, like you said, submitted. He probably already submitted himself, but the best genjutsu necessarily have to have an element of truth to it.
I mean, he looked young, so he could be as young as like a 21-year-old or something, or even younger. Now, y'all know how black people are, so he could be 25 or better, but he looked kind of young to me.
Peach Fuzz says it all. The Peach Fuzz say it all, man.
So my thing is, if his grandmama was running his granddad, which I believe there's a very good chance that happened if he know who his granddaddy is. But the way he said that, like, you know what I'm saying, your grandma run everything. Somebody as young as him, where's his perception going to come from? More than likely, it's just coming from stuff that happened to him personally. Yes, social media is there now, so people can start to see some stuff in the outside world. And based on whatever he's been seeing, and he see how women have been acting, yeah, he think women run stuff at the end of the day. And with a lot of men, they do run stuff. We can't act like that's not true. And let's keep it real. Would he hang out with men who are getting ran by their women? Absolutely. It's his friends. Do his friends got dads at home? Probably not. Because if you can say that about any random black man, does his friends have fathers at home? Unfortunately, because there's so many children being raised without a father, more than likely, they're not at home. So this is his true world perception. And it goes along with what the women excuse me.
No, you good.
It goes along with what the women have promoted. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at those other clips, you hear the women talk. The black man not even included. This nigga just happy to be there. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
He happy to be there. Yeah, exactly.
He's just happy to be there.
Happy to exist.
So you ever seen a woman? A man, like a full-grown man, fall into like just start following? Let's just say Black Guru, right? At his age, right, in stage, just say, you know what? I like what this young man's saying. You know what? I'm gonna take on this ideology. That usually don't happen with adult males who are, kind of know their manhood, set in their manhood. You can only really pull that indoctrination as they are kids, right? Or they're young, because you raising them, right? They only know what they see. But once that young man was a ruffian, right? The quote unquote YN culture, if you will, right?
Well, YN is banned from this channel. We is not, because that's implying that because he's young and he's black, he a nigga.
Well,
so
I mean, I'm a nigga, 100%. You know what I'm saying?
No, not in that context, bro. Not in that context. There's no positive context to YN.
Right. Well, you get what I'm saying. Is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to argue.
No, I'm just saying we're not going to use that term on this channel. That's all.
Yeah, I got you. Respect.
Yeah.
But at any rate, he's a young man, right? Young black man, young Negroid, and I'm proud to be who I am. And I think that's kind of what it is there's no man around him to make him feel, or what the demonstration is for him to breathe. See, he get that. Not disrespecting y'all, but he gonna get that all the time. Every time he say something, a woman gonna come in and tell him, don't say that.
Let me ask you this, creator. Let me ask the panel this. What's worse?
Hold on, real question. Let me get this out the way. Shout out to Elder Blood, because he says it's a question for another day. And we will deal with it. He says, why are white women now saying that they need to save black men from black women?
Well, yeah, that's true though.
This young black man makes me wonder: do white women see clearly that black men do white women see clearly what black men cannot? That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go to really kind of see. White women say they need to save black men.
Wow.
Because I've seen people say stuff like that as a joke. I haven't seen it for real. Yeah, I've seen it as a joke, but
I'll answer that question later after we cover the topic. But there is a real answer to that question.
Yeah,
wow.
Let me ask.
The short answer is yes, because white women know how to play the long game. But we can talk about that another day.
Yeah. That's
Better
all.
watch your mouth. You better watch your mouth.
Hey, Roger, I sent you a video.
And believe me, if there's any game white women like to play, it's the long one. If y'all know what
Long game.
There you go.
Let me ask y'all this though. Is because we obviously, like y'all describing, this man, this is a black African, this is an FBA gynocratic man raised in a gynocracy, and he's accepted and basically submitted to it. Is this worse than a black man in a gynocracy that believes he's a patriarch within the side of gynocracy? Which one is worse or more dangerous?
Actually,
wait. So the one, wait. I want to make sure I understand the question.
Okay.
I can actually tell you.
I want to make sure I understand it. So the question is somebody that think he's running it, but he isn't, or somebody who knows he isn't running it, but accepts it.
Exactly.
That's the question?
That's the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Wow. All right. In my personal opinion, it's a double-edged sword, and I feel like this because the one that knows he's running it necessarily, or the one that doesn't, that's under the illusion, right? Mm-hmm. He's dangerous because he's initially dangerous because quote unquote he believes, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Like if you believe that you got $1,000 in your account that's saying somebody take it, then you're gonna act kind of wild, right? Because you believe that you have money in that account, right?
Right.
But the person who necessarily submitted is not as dangerous on the front end, but it was more evil or insidious on the back end because that person's going to be working against your best interest in the most evil of ways, necessarily, even in the most deepest, darkest crevices, necessarily, is working against your best interest, necessarily. So, like, they're both equally dangerous. It just depends on the front end or the back end.
I would answer the question in this way via an analogy. I'm going into a war. Who would I rather fight with? A guy who views himself as a soldier and a compatriot of mine, but does not know how to properly fight. Maybe has an ignorance or confusion about how to properly fight. Or to go into a war in which I'm directly alongside my enemy and who's going to try to eliminate me and undermine me for the interests of the other side.
And which one of those are you characterizing as? Which one are you tying to? So
this is the enemy. This young guy is the enemy.
I'm saying this guy is much more dangerous because
you know what?
Starting from the perspective of someone who perceives himself to be a patriarch, I can deal with that. I can potentially reach that man. It may be problematic, but we're starting from the basic premise that we're men and we're supposed to lead. So then the debate is how we're going to lead. You know, I think I can more easily reach that particular man than some fool who not only does not expect me to be a leader, but is likely to undermine me every effort to try to be a leader.
Right.
And that's what
the blade you see versus the blade that you don't.
See, I kind of slightly disagree, Uru. I might approach it. I think I might be because see what maybe this is a thought experiment, so I don't know if it's right. I'm thinking maybe the guy who believes he's already leading, it will be harder for me to convince him, nigga, you're not really leading. Let's really get some power.
Facts.
He may say to himself, nigga, I am leading. Nigga, shut up. You're just jealous. He might go into. I might be able to inspire this guy on the screen that you nigga, you don't have to be such a loser about this shit, bro.
This guy said that all the people around him are women, which means that he is 3, 4, probably. You know how early.
No, he like 5.
Black women got started making babies. Might be 5 generations into female leadership and dominance. So that's what you're gonna. That's what you think you're going to undo. That's what you think you're gonna do. See,
this young Negro.
That's why I said earlier when I made the analogy of that. In my analogy, I think I can get to that guy who fundamentally views himself to be a man and views himself to be a leader. Right. And we can have some discussions about how manhood really is supposed to work and the logistics of it, because we're starting from the premise that we both are men and we're supposed to lead. That I think I can work with. I can working with some guy who expects women to lead whatever. This guy's gonna betray you every opportunity he gets.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to fight in a skirt. He gonna fight in a skirt, so we gotta get past that. He think it's cool.
I ain't gonna do that to him. I ain't gonna do that to him. I ain't gonna do that to him. But I know one thing. This Negro right here is gonna tell you you won't even have the right to think you're a leader.
Well, I think I would take this from a different direction. He's not the problem. He's just a tool of the problem, right? The question would be, if we're gonna go into battle and I got them two choices, my question is, who sent this nigga?
True.
Right?
Real talk. That's real talk.
The guy Nicholson said both them niggas.
So I want to bring it to a point of something. So sorry, Roger, go ahead.
No, I don't want to cut you off though. Go ahead, say what you saying.
What I was gonna say, I know we going in on him because he's the dude saying all this stuff out loud. But if y'all watch all the videos, all of the women in the videos were saying these same things, but it just went over our heads, right? One chick who was referencing about, the one chick who was talking about, no. So how she put it, see, check how this lady put it. The one lady who was talking about how black women have the pay gap, the wealth gap. She put it as wealth gap because they don't use the pay gap verse anymore because we all know that that's not real. So now it's the wealth gap. Women make less than $50,000 a year. So we need to get them to do something for us so we can make more money. Not that we can improve and get better jobs. We gotta get these niggas to do something to pay us more without us doing anything. That's what she was saying in that video without saying. The next chick, this last one, which makes my skin crawl. She talking about she gonna give you financial tips. Listen, y'all, I don't know if anybody was paying attention, but she said you can eat out once a week. Did y'all niggas pay attention to the restaurants she named?
Yeah.
Yeah. None of them restaurants is less than $200, even if you go eat by your goddamn self. Just so you know.
Well, really?
That's
I gotta give her credit. Didn't she say Chipotle in there? Didn't she throw that one in?
She said Chipotle at the end, but the first one is the one you should all pay attention to, because that hoe ain't going to Chipotle if the first one's an option. I ain't even gonna say the name because you want them to pay you for advertising, Roger. You want them to pay you for advertising. I'm telling you, you do.
Absolutely, I do. I'm with you there 100%. And I'm gonna say that was the first time I ever heard somebody put Chipotle in that restaurant in the same sentence. I ain't never heard them in the same sentence before. But that shows how oxymoronic women's minds.
Oh no, Roger. It was so she doesn't look too bad, right? She's doing this to improve finances. You give a ridiculously expensive restaurant 4.5 star, and then also you give an option of Chipotle. That means you covered all your bases. And then she say the rest of the time you cook at home. Well, listen, I'm not broke, and we only eat out maybe once a month. Do you know how expensive it is to eat out once a week? What that is to your finances on every given month?
Well, true.
Now imagine this. No, hold on. You gotta imagine this part though, right?
You gotta have deep pockets though.
No, bro. If the average meal is $200 necessarily for one individual, right? So that's $400 per whatever outing, bro. Like at this point, you almost talking about $1,200 just going out to eat. Like
just
at this point, really.
Hold fast. She's just talking about what women can do. So it's only gonna be the 200 because they're only gonna pay for themselves. She's not talking about it as if she's gonna take him in with her and then pay for him too.
She's not doing
talking
that.
about what
That's
a woman's gonna do for herself. But let me get this out the way so I can get Shark Tim's in for real. Shout out to Elder Blood. He said, seriously, Roger, on TikTok, a few videos on YouTube, white women have began making videos claiming they need to save black men from black women, while depicting black women like hard-headed, arrogant, anti-sexual to black men's need beasts. Now, I'm gonna say this: I have been seeing videos of white women who want black men for certain reasons. I just haven't heard the context of them saving black men. I've only seen some video where it was like presented as a joke. But for them to be like, we need to save these black men, I haven't really gotten that, but I'm gonna say this: I probably ain't cruised the same TikTok streets you have cruised on. The white women and other women around the world, they are looking at black men because, truth be told, we are the most liberal and we are the most egalitarian men, and a lot of them are saying we can do stuff with those guys that we can't do with our guys, so let's go after them. That is actually happening. I'm not arguing that at all. Just the context of saving the black man, I haven't really seen that much. I'm just keeping, but I will go look just so I can see that context, because I don't want to talk about it without really seeing a good amount of what they actually saying out there in that particular context. And that's all I'm saying.
Roger, I
I
don't know if you've
want to see
seen
it from
it.
that context.
Roger, it was the I don't know, it was the they had did like a while back. It was the quote unquote save the angel black man skits, and they'd be like they had this white woman, they'd be like, oh, just for 40 cents a day, you as a white woman, you can save this black man necessarily, and they had like a little song in the eyes of an angel. I don't know if y'all seen that.
I've seen that, and a couple other things like that. I've seen it where they're saying they're saving the black man as a joke. I just haven't seen like any content creator or whatever really speaking on it and saying they need to save black men from black women. I've seen them say, look how black men are. They are this way. We should go after them. So they're not really doing it in a comparison to black women that I've seen. I'm not saying it ain't there. I'm just saying I haven't seen it from that particular context. And shout out to Elder Blood again. He says, I presume these white women saving black men from black women have derived from white women's retort to the overwhelming number of black women divest or love videos overbearing the internet. Well, Elder Blood, this is probably the truth. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's competition for them. You see what I'm saying? Because if black women are going to go after their men, they're going to do something to make sure that they stay in charge at the end of the day. Not that I'm not saying they even really see black women as competition, but white women going to respond to make sure everybody know that they the baddest mamma jamma in town. That's just how the game go with them, because they are part of white supremacy too. So they're going to use white supremacy tactics. They're not going to allow somebody else to promote that there's a better woman than them without saying anything about it. That's just not going to happen.
Facts.
So it probably is in response to that. But I want to say also, dang, I lost it. I'll come back to it. But Shark Sam's got to get in for an opening statement. Shark, do you think? Oh, hold on. Here you go. It's Metaphysical 77. He said, silly, goofy, I ain't going to curse, ultra beta dudes, cucks. Now, Metaphysical, I'm assuming that you meant that toward the panel. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know. I honestly believe y'all, and I'm saying deep in my heart, that's you. I think y'all say this stuff because y'all are those men. Because I have to accept what happens in the real world. In the real world, I don't run into a bunch of black men that ain't getting nothing.
Boy.
So who are the men that truly ain't getting anything? It's got to be you niggas that's upset. And I think a lot of you niggas are upset because, yeah, you come from women and y'all just like this dude on the screen that they pushing we got to make fun of. I think y'all just like this nigga. You probably just maybe an older version of this nigga. A nigga who think if he's not in complete and absolute complete servitude of women, he is wrong. I think that's y'all, man. Real talk. And I'm not saying that to make fun of you because I don't know you personally or anything like that. You might even be a person I like, but these names don't change on YouTube. But I'm being honest, man. I think it's y'all. Because it seemed to be a whole lot of black men that be like, well, y'all niggas can't get no women. Y'all can't get no pussy. And I'd be like, what black community was you growing up in? Where was that happening there? Where was it that black men couldn't get no pussy? If it ain't you, who is it? Because I know it ain't me. It ain't none of my friends. It ain't none of my cousins. It wasn't my father's generation. So who are these men? It's got to be y'all.
Panel members.
Yeah, it's got to be y'all. And I'm saying that realistically.
Can I
put a video in the back for you.
Wait, can I get my 3 minutes real quick?
He done moved it to 3. But you know what? I'm gonna give you 3 because they made you wait too long. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 3. Go ahead, bro.
Blood in the water, man. Go ahead, man. It's blood in the water.
To Miss Mary Sue, I just want to say, don't save these niggas. They don't want to be saved. All right. In regards to that question that Compassion had presented, honestly, I think the dude who think he's in charge is the worst off. You know what I mean? Now to understand, like, yeah, I know I'm not running this shit, but hey, I'm just gonna ride the wheels till it fall off. I'm still getting my knobs slobbed. I'm still getting food cooked, etc., etc. It's that dude that really think he's screaming at his wife and telling her what to do. That's really ruling shit. He. I think he's the problem personally. Now, as far as the cuck thing, and Roger saying, guys getting, man, listen. Who cares about if you getting pussy if you're not getting respected? See, the pimp, he don't give a fuck about. I mean, he don't give a hell about the pussy. He gets the respect.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar free said you ain't built for this game if you can't if you can't take seeing your girl getting effed by another dude. Meaning, who cares as long as she respecting me and doing what I tell her to do? Who cares about that thing that she got right there? That don't mean nothing. It's the respect. She's still coming back to me and bringing me the money. She ain't bringing him the money. She just giving him some honey that she get same honey she giving me. Like we put so much emphasis and regard on pussy that it's ridiculous. And I always told y'all, you doing more work when you smashing her. When she giving you head, she's bowing down to the king. You lifting them big old legs up in the air and sweating and catching heart attacks, almost trying to please her. OG told me one time, he said, "Yo, lick your finger and put it in your ear and wiggle it." And I did it. He's like, "Now, which one felt better, your finger or the ear?" And I was baffled after that. I woke up. I woke up.
Now, I'm gonna say real quick. The reason I say certain things the certain way that I say to certain people, because I know people don't get everything the same way. And I just look at this as an example of school. You're teaching from kindergartners all the way up to PhDs. Everybody ain't gonna get the same thing. When guys say stuff like that, and it's adversarial, I'm not gonna say he said adversarial, even though that's what I suspect. The thing is, he still measures manhood based on a woman. He don't know nothing about being a man. He ain't the only person like that come around. That's why I'm saying he's probably this guy that's on screen. The guy on screen, I think this is a 19-year-old who's misguided because he said himself, I was raised by women. 90% of my family is women. What is he telling me about his family? It's not just one or two. Generally, no woman can keep a man around. No woman. How do you have a 90% female family if women can keep men around? Because even if that was just how if everybody just kind of had a bunch of girls, why wouldn't the girl be able to keep a man around at some point in time in their life? You're gonna grow up, you're gonna become an adult female. How you can't keep a man around at some point? So how can you have this 90% family or 90% women family if any women truly knew how to keep a man around? So I think the people who say stuff to random guys on the internet, because that's what it really comes out to be. I don't think you niggas get no pussy, or you niggas ain't get no. Y'all the niggas that didn't get no pussy, and it bothers you because women told you weren't a man unless you could get some.
But Roger, that messes up your theory of saying black men don't ever leave women, right? You said that black men rarely leave. Black men don't leave women. They don't break up with women, right? You said that.
That generally does not happen.
So black women can keep a nigga. They just don't want the nigga, and they just throw niggas away whenever they feel free.
Well, I mean, I can rock with that. They will throw the dudes away for whatever their dumb reasons are.
If I may, I think there's generally too much debate about who is and isn't fucking. Because the truth is, don't nobody know nothing but what you doing, or we only know what we're personally doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm very agnostic towards any sort of debates about who fucking who, how who fucking who, or when. I'm very much against any arguments about tricking and all of that stuff. To me, all of that is very private business. Very private business. I don't want to know who you fucking. I don't know how you fucking. I don't know if you like it when she put her finger in your booty and all that kind of crazy shit. I don't have to ever know any of that kind of stuff about you. And I think it's all kind of gay when men start even talking about that kind of stuff. Because why am I concerned about what some other dude is doing with his Roscoe? That's like the furthest thing from my mind. And I think if I were us, I would really start to come down really hard against any kind of, you know, who the nigga that's fucking kind of debate. Because I think it reduces black men across the board, and it makes it easier for women to control our thinking and control the conversation. Because ultimately everything is triangulating back to that little ratty box of there. And that's
exactly. Hold on, y'all. And I'm not trying to let this get too out there. The reason I'm saying something is because I'm really kind of bringing a highlight to these niggas is acting like girls. And the truth be told, when you make these type of statements, you are literally worried about some stranger's dick on the internet. How much dick you suck to be concerned with another nigga's dick? And I'm not saying that to make fun of nobody. I'm saying this as a realistic question because I'm a man, y'all. I live in the world. I like women. How much dick you got to suck to start worrying about the next nigga's dick? That's just something I was never trained to do. Why do I concern myself with the next nigga's dick? You know what I'm saying? I gave light concern when I was in high school. Why? Because me and the fellas would go somewhere together. If one of us trying to get some, we try to make sure he can get it if it can happen. But I mean, once we stop hanging out so much, we not in the same places at the same time. Like my best friend, I don't worry about how much pussy he get. I don't think about his dick. If he tell me a story, he tell me a story. But I'll never call him and say, "Hey man, how much pussy you getting out here?" So when a random dude on the internet starts saying this stuff to a panel or some other person that's on the internet, what I'm trying to do is highlight what you look like. Why are you talking to other men about what they're doing with their dicks? And you really want me to believe you're not gay? It just don't make sense. It's like a sandwich with just bread.
Mama told me I gotta keep you alive, bro.
I'm not
But
disagreeing.
Uru, thank you for your live.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, Roger. I just think that I wouldn't even really make it much of a debate point about whether he's gay or whether he's fucking or whatever. I just think in general we got to neutralize that aspect because again we'll be talking and debating about who's fucking and who we'll have a 2-hour debate about that, and brothers will do that and you'll get a field from what the real issue is, and that is the freedom. Like when we talk about the passport thing, well, the first thing motherfuckers bring up is who is not tricking. That's the very first thing everybody bring up. And what I would say is, if I'm going to Thailand, I'm definitely tricking, and I will send you my address to come and stop me. And the conversation's gonna end right there. What else do you have to
I keep
say
saying
about
this
it?
shit, man.
You're not gonna shame me. You're not gonna shame me to no women. You're not gonna shame me or whatever. Cause I'm gonna say I'm going to Thailand to buy some better pussy. That's what I'm gonna say.
This I gotta say this because this is that Uru. What you're saying is key, and what we got to remember in these conversations, what we got to reckon. So you can't solve a problem without admitting and then understanding the problem you have. What we got to accept is black men for a long time. Part of our how we judged each other was by how many bitches you got and how many women you was able to bed. We got to just accept that. That was very much we cared about that more than what degree you had.
You ain't got no hoes,
right? So
let me say this because this is what I'm doing because I'm not trying to let this get off track. The reason I kind of said something to him, which I will do to some people here and there, because I just want them to really pay attention to how much dick they worried about. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real gay. Truth be told, I'm not saying you can't be gay. If you live in America, you are allowed to be gay. I'm not saying you can't be gay. But, if you're going to come out the closet, do it on somebody else's show. You ain't got to tell me. I don't care. But I'm doing this because it is part of today's show. No, seriously, y'all. Serious. This is part of today's show. Should we continue being matriarchal, or should we establish a patriarchy? A matriarch wants me to have concern over what a bunch of random people is doing with their dick, rather than being able to say, you know what, I'm a man, I'm gonna set some rules, and I'm gonna start controlling how things should go, who should dominate what, and all this type of stuff. A very matriarchal guy. And let's keep it real. As far as I can tell, there are a lot of gay men who do buy into matriarchy. I'm not gonna say all
they
of
definitely
them.
do.
I'm not gonna say all of them, but I know there's a lot that I've come across that buy into matriarchy. So when guys say stuff like this, like you're a random dude on the panel and you talking about men's dicks. How?
No,
I don't understand how they accept that other than some gay stuff that you're trying to push.
No, it makes sense.
Or hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's also this whole thing about you literally have attached your manhood to a woman's pussy.
No, that's exactly. Look, we want the matriarchal concept. To your point, and even to the guys in the chat dissenting, if there matriarchal men or women, it is important who you're fucking.
Exactly.
Women, they do measure who you're betting and how you getting it and how you fucking is definitely how they would operate. So it makes sense. That's proof that black men descend from a matriarchy, because we do it as males. We measure each other, who you fucking, what type of bitches you getting. That's very much part of our current, and that's been our hierarchy, how we measured each other in the hierarchy. What we try to do here is make it clear that we're for the first time establishing our own measures of hierarchy. And what Uru said, we should remove the getting bitches stone from the infinity gauntlet that we built.
I freaking agree. To get bitch stone.
No bitch stone took it out.
FBA African, I'll just say black men. If there's a metaphorical infinity gauntlet that we all carry and we all trying to accumulate the stones to be able to snap respect into existence, one of those stones is getting bitches. That's what it's been. That's how we got to accept that. That's how it always has been. We always measured each other by it, and we realize how deleterious that is to us actually moving forward.
And my thing is, it is a black man showing that a woman is his leader, because that's one of his most important measuring sticks. You know what I'm saying? And if that's your most important measuring stick, you can't tell me you don't believe in female leadership.
Yes.
That's why I'm pointing out the fact the guy who said that from the comment section is probably just like this dude, which I'm gonna assume is about 19 years old. He's an adult, so I would still come at him a certain way, but I will have some level of understanding, because I do believe he's been raised poorly the first 18 years of his life, which is why he's probably saying something like this at about 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Would I call him a goofy or something like that? Probably. I would, but I'd say it to his face out of love and try to show him why he's wrong. I wouldn't just really try to make fun, because he's so young. You know what I'm saying? I still get, especially with the fact that, your family is 90% women. I get they don't keep no men around. So what is his identity of being a man? Just like the dude in the chat, is what a woman told him a man was, because he don't know men. Yeah, he don't really know any men.
I ain't got no hoes, man.
Yeah, well, and I'm saying, and you know what? Truth be told, when you say stuff like that, because people do say stuff like that, and they mean it for real. I'm saying, when it's not a joke, people say stuff like that. Now, if you grow up thinking a man got to have 12 broads, what men do you listen to?
Because hoes, though, bro, not broads.
Okay, I mean, we can say hoes, but my point is, if you believe a dude got to have 12 hoes to be a man, would you listen to a guy who's actually going to college and working on his engineering degree?
No.
Would you listen to a man who actually has a plumbing business? Would you listen to a man who's putting a construction company together? You see what I'm saying?
Nope.
So a lot of guys miss a lot of everything. And I'm saying this is one of the real reasons why it's so hard for men to switch from being matriarchal to having a patriarchy. Because you can do it yourself personally. You can't control the rest of society, but you can make a personal choice to be a patriarch. And a lot of men won't make that personal choice.
So what would you consider the coach of Michigan's coach that got caught up in this situation. I think we all know what
I,
happened.
I believe he's a patriarch. He just did something stupid.
No, he's not. No, he's
No,
not.
no, no.
He's
I'm
not.
gonna tell you why I
No,
believe he's a patriarch. Because
I think he is as well.
I don't think his women run him or anything like that. And just because he got issue with his job because he did something stupid. Because the reality is we all gonna do something stupid every once in a while. That's just the reality.
What
And
is the
people don't
stupid?
want to get past that.
What is the stupid thing he did?
The stupid thing he did is that his side hoe was attached to the job.
He
could have had a different side hoe.
He let pussy ruin him. Back to
But that's not.
Back to what Uru just
But I
got
mean,
through
we had
saying.
kings that bro. You had kings from throughout history do the same thing, bro. And so you can't say that, bro.
People have lost their jobs in a multitude of ways that we would all say is stupid. Everybody does something stupid every once in a while. And my thing is, I will never measure a person on perfection unless you can actually be perfect and train me how to be perfect too.
Now,
Perfection is too high a standard.
Yeah, I mean, just
if the raggedy box can make you mess your
patriarch
life up, the
doesn't
raggedy
mean
box
you're
has more. My fault, Uru. My bad.
being a patriarch doesn't mean you're without fault or
Right.
without error or mistake. I mean, we can debate whether or not this guy's a patriarch. I mean, guy became, head coach of the Michigan Wolverines at 37 years old. That's pretty damn patriarchal to me. If I were doing some kind of, measurement.
They don't understand, Uru. They don't.
But I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't know if debating whether he's a patriarch is necessarily important. I just think that and you guys were touching on it, but I'm a little more aggressive about it. I don't like any of this talk about dick measurements and
That's so
who
weird.
fucking whom and whatever. It's all very debilitating to black men. And this is what I'm over 60-something years old. So I've seen this play out over the generations. Like
So
going
young
back
ass.
to, the civil rights and the disco era. So I've seen a lot of, in the AIDS thing and all, I've seen a lot of the permutations of this whole, BBC legend, so to speak. And while it is entertaining and to some degree image inflating, it almost always works against us and used against us. It worked. Black women use it against us. They play favorites between us on that issue real hard. White women, other non-black women, and white men are so obsessed by it that I think it's the biggest fundamental reason why we'll never come to any resolution of this race issue. Because first thing they looking at is our dicks. So we have to begin to kind of de-emphasize that as a issue that we ourselves are going to be controlled by and debate with each other about. We have to let it go. This homie got a little dick. This homie got a big dick. That ain't supposed to be an issue between black men.
Yeah, and this is what I'm doing, because I've been trying to, because I do this every once in a while to one of these guys saying this type of stuff, but I'm gonna try to put it in a way that should be clear to people. Y'all, I'm a grown man. I have noticed something in life. People talk about my dick because they want me to have sex with them. Now, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do with that information, but I'm keeping it real. When a girl was talking about my dick, that was my gateway. That's her letting me know I can get it.
Basically.
So why would I assume that a random nigga on the internet who wants to refer to my dick don't want me to have sex with him?
Roger, I just became very uncomfortable and awkward. Can we change this?
Can we please change the conversation?
I'm literally doing this deliberately. Why is my dick important to a person who don't want me to have sex with them? My mama don't talk about my dick. No. My mama don't talk to me about my dick. My daddy don't talk to me about my dick. My sisters don't talk to me about my dick. My brothers don't talk to me about my dick. When I go to church, the pastor don't talk to me about my dick. The only people who seem to talk about my dick are people who want me to have sex with.
And Roger, right now, let me say this. This is important. This is important that you do this. This is important that you do this like this, because I think this is the way we get away with. This is how we do what Uru's urging us to do. We need to be shamed away from worrying about each other's dicks, because it is a socially enhancing attribute that we measure each other by. We got to admit that, and that's at very least it's an extreme waste of energy. And really, all getting women and prowess with women prove is that you're good at pleasing women. And how useful is that to the group? Like, so.
Yeah. And let me hammer this point home that you guys are on, even though it's uncomfortable. The only way one man knows, right? The only way one man knows the size of another man's penis is because some hoe out there fuck both of y'all.
Yeah,
Think about
that's
that.
true.
Yeah.
That's the only way you know.
And she ran and told me.
Right. I'm gonna give you one
She
more,
ran
man.
and told me.
I'm gonna give you one more.
Nah, not another one, Roger. Not another one. Not another one, Roger. Come on.
I want this
We
to be
don't want.
I want this to be
Roger.
uncomfortable for men.
No, Roger. We know this your show, but we don't want no more examples.
No. Listen, the fact that it's uncomfortable, the fact that it's uncomfortable proves that this is an issue for us. So we need to go through it. The fact that it's uncomfortable proves that this is really a part of our hierarchy. So go on, Raj.
Yeah, my thing is, I might have sent a dick pic to a woman, and she showed it to you because you like dicks. Now my dick became important to you.
Well, that's now that took it in a whole different.
I never.
No. I'm serious.
Where's Chef Mike when you need it? Where's Chef Mike?
Right?
Hold on, bro. I want real stuff on here. As a content creator,
that's a Roger Report violation.
As a content creator, there's always going to be some women who will kind of let you hit just because you're a content creator. So when I see random people talking about people's dicks on the panel, to me, that's the signal they want you to have sex with them. I'm not saying we have to, but to me, it's a clear signal they want you to have sex with them. Because why is another man who don't know you, and I'm assuming people don't know each other, these are folks who seen you on the internet talk, why? I ain't never been in somebody's audience and they made a comment about somebody on a panel or a host dick. I ain't never did that once.
You know why they do it, Roger? Because black men's ego is so wrapped up in their dick size. How many hoes they get. That's the
women
problem.
attack my
Hold on. It's not wrapped up in the respect that we're supposed to get, the accomplishments that we made, how much money we got in the bank, the people who revere us, the people we keep wrapped. It's just, my dick is bigger than yours. That's the most, like Ubu said, man, that is the most dumbest thing.
The only way that matters is if y'all screwing the same chick. Yeah, see, y'all don't get it. These women are so whorish.
Kevin,
these women are so whorish. It matters.
Kevin, if your money longer than his, he don't matter.
No.
I do want to move away from this, but I do want to say this. See, I'm looking at things from a very realistic standpoint that people really can't deny. Women will argue with you, and you can still have sex with them because you create an emotional connection with them, whether it's positive or negative. So a guy trying to argue with me and throw something about you ain't getting no pussy or whatever, he wants to establish an emotional connection with me so I will have sex with him. He's doing the same thing women do. I get why the women do it. The woman, she want to give me some pussy. I get it. I'm not even tripping. You know what I'm saying?
Roger, he made you that mad that you gotta go in this.
Yes. Roger's fired up about this thing.
I just want people to realize what it is, man. When you see men copying women in every other scenario, and then they do the same thing women do when they trying to offer you pussy, why you think it's something else?
Hey, he can't. You know what? I don't even want to agree with that, but in a right, it is like a man trying to get you to submit to a degree. He's trying to make you feel less than, right, in some type of way. And I just don't, like I said, the men I'm around, we don't even have certain conversations. But I think this is a bigger point. My bad, Roger, about when we was talking about if my man's was a, if that was patriarchy or not. And I think a guy made a point earlier that just because your money it's an and an also, it's not an only. right? Our masculinity, as far as our physicality, is an and then also it's not a only. And so when we start talking about patriarchy, it is a conglomeration of several different things, right? That amounts up to this one thing, if you will. So it's not a height thing or a money thing, or it's several different things that align properly, right? And most humans, right, I don't care where they are, most humans they'll notice that, not by just what I say to a woman, freaker and I'm gone, but it's by my actions and what I'm doing beyond the freaking, beyond the money, beyond all these other things. And again, that don't mean perfect, because most of the time most patriarchy, even the white patriarchy we can see is way imperfect. So black patriarchy will be imperfect as well. That don't mean it's not effective.
Let's level set the conversation. Let's get it back to the question.
Well, that's what I was actually about to do by getting these super chats in. But I do want people to understand. That sometimes somebody could be attempting to emasculate you, but he probably just acting like the women in his family. He's trying to give you a signal that he wants you to give him some. He wants some of your dick too. It just is what it is.
Oh, damn.
Bro, you's not talking about my dick unless you want some.
God damn it.
I guess I'm cool with that being an Afro-American rule of thumb for the men. Yeah. And I'm saying,
and back up. And here's a tricky part about what you're doing here, Roger, though, because I get what you're doing. But you do know if he is queer, he's pulling on himself right now while you're talking. How much do you want to?
Man, you fucking it up, bro. I was eating and everything, man.
How much masturbatory material do you want to get us?
But that's
he got the last word on it.
I was eating.
No, but that's why we can bring it back to the point. I mean, when we say, we all know we can. I mean, obviously, all us here agree we should go more of a patriarchal direction as opposed to matriarchal. But then it begs the question. And I think we already started going down the right lane, talking about our affinity for or how we measure each other around getting women or pleasing women and body counts of women. What we got to know about patriarchy is the relationship of men. How men manage the power and resources within the community amongst each other. And then that begs the question, okay, cool. Since we agree on that, then we got to start to ask the question, okay, how do we assess and judge one another amongst the men? And then that, when we being honest, contemporarily right now, if we was all at a patriarchal conference where all black men got together, we would have to go over the fact that we are measuring each other by one, who gets the most bitches and what quality of bitches. Two, somebody already said it. Shark made a good point. Money, having money in our patriarchal hierarchy actually is something we judge you by. But should it be the mere
that comes from women? That comes from women too.
No, I think what I was gonna say.
Women,
what I was gonna say is patriarchies are viewed in a very sexual way by women.
Yes.
So my thing is, when you do it that way, you are acting like a woman, because they gotta do it based off sexual prowess, based off what they believe they can get out of the man, who can protect them the most. Right. All these things connect right back to sex for them. So when men are moving like women, doing the stuff that women do, I'm just gonna have to safely assume, which I believe is a very safe assumption, you're doing it for the same reason women are doing it. It just is what it is.
I want to assert something. Sorry, go ahead. I think you got some stuff to read.
No, yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna read. But if you got something anywhere near this, go ahead and say it now, because I'm trying. Because I'm not. The dick conversation is technically over with for me.
Okay, cool. I'm not going into that.
Okay.
So there's a real simple fix for the whole patriarchy problem that we have, and it's honestly more fundamental than anybody would think. You just treat women like children. It's that simple. Okay. Right, if they say something crazy to you, it's like a kid saying, do you take a 10-year-old?
You can't do that because the problem is when you treat them like children, like.
No, that's actually the solution. You treat them like children.
Well, we can't.
There's penalties.
Rights of adults. They got rights of
right. No. I'm not. And I understand that. But if we treat them like children, one, their opinions won't matter. 2, they won't have an effect on you because their opinions don't matter. 3, they'll have to face punishment because as somebody who's taking responsibility for children, it's your job to discipline them. Now, how you go about that, you definitely have to follow certain rules and regulations for their class of childhood, but there are ways that you can go about it. So I just think if we change our mindset on, okay, we can't treat them like adults. They don't act like it. We should treat them like children. Suddenly now we're faced with decisions we have to make. Well, hell, she said something to me about my manhood. She accused me of being gay. How can I take that seriously? Look at her. She has the mind of a child. Why would I take her accusation of me being gay? She lied on me and said I did something. I'm gonna be like, yo, look, she's a liar. Look at her history. Why would you believe her? Because most men don't respond that way when they're accused of something by a woman. They just go hush hush and hope it dies.
Well,
right?
I would disagree to a degree.
Hold on, before let me get these super chats in. I got to get these super chats in. Shout out to Elder Blood. He said, why is it that anywhere and everywhere you find black men suffering, black women got something to do with it? This is no longer mere hyperbole, coincidence, or myth. And I think that is a huge point.
I think he meant hyperbole, but
well, hyperbole, yeah, because that's what he put in there. Yeah, that's my bad. I'm thinking about being hyperbolic. You know what I'm saying? But
I get the same kind of too.
Yeah. Shout out to Shark Sims. He say Uru is my spirit animal. What you said is profound. And that probably came from the first statement Black Uru made about the that dick conversation that this
I don't know.
No, don't just forget.
I don't know. I'm gonna take it how you read it. You read it after Uru's last comment. That's how I'm taking it.
and shout out to Stepbrother Dry Repair. He says Uru's response is big dick energy. Closing the curtains. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you.
Goddamn.
Roger did that on purpose. He could have just said, I know that, right? He's trolling us now.
No, we ain't got to pause, man. We men and we got them. We got them. We got them.
Yeah,
that's why I said
I don't want none of you niggas in this motherfucker.
And I just want y'all to know. Chef Mike was there talking about, don't call me now.
That's why I say though. I think what Uru said, that attribute of how we, kind of do a lot of dick measuring and shit. I think it is like I said earlier, to solve a problem, and as men, we like to call ourselves the logical, practical engineers of the society. To solve a problem, you got to not only accept that you have one, but then you have to study the nature of the problem. So it's not going to be as simple as black men all deciding we want to be patriarchal, because the software we running on right now, like we all pointing out, if you really look at how black men measure each other, we measure each other like women measure each other.
Exactly.
So we can all get in the conference and say, let's be patriarch to Extinction and Judgment Day. Shout out Black Mind. But we won't ever really functionally work, or we won't be able to build on it and replicate it if we don't recognize our nature ain't patriarchal. It's like this dude on the screen. A lot more black men agree with his sentiments if they was being honest than they agree with ours. So what we got to do is recognize at the fundamental level how we measure each other one to one. It can't be about how many bitches you get, because that's how we currently operate, and we ain't building no patriarchy right now. I don't care what nobody says.
Well, I mean, let's keep it real. That's how women operate.
It is. That's
I'm just saying. I just want men to understand. If you're gonna continue to operate that way, I mean, that's your choice. But I'm not gonna take the illusion away that you are operating like a woman.
Yeah,
I got you.
Well, so we all right now, patriarchy is what the white folk have established. We living under that construct. So none of us really have had the opportunity to live under black patriarchy. And we keep saying patriarchy, but I'm always pushing black.
Speak for yourselves, bro.
Right. And that's cool. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Now, where we are, We still living like we don't have banks. You're not going to the banks and institutions. That's what I'm talking about. Black patriarchy is establishing our institutions. And now we don't have to worry about how somebody gonna treat you. Why is that? Because they have to come to your institution to indulge in your resources, right? You see how that work? You don't. That's why I'm saying we should take the women and how many women you got and how much. Nope, we need to start establishing resources. That's why I said when you move with a plan and intention, you don't chase nobody. They come to fill out applications at your employer. You're the employer. They're gonna come out, fill the applications out, and you pick the ones that you feel like are gonna get your business to where it need to be. You don't have to go looking at, and they're gonna use their talent 200% to make you greater. That's true to me, patriarchy. We don't have to go beg and ask for nothing. It's gonna come to you. But you establish yourself first and then move in that direction. And I think that's what we're doing right this instant.
I don't know. I mean,
I disagree. I disagree a little bit. I agree with the sentiment. I disagree a little bit. I think you could have a man working at Burger King, and you could be an engineer. But if you and him get in an altercation, he crack your goddamn head open. You ain't gonna feel like much of a man at the moment, no matter how much money you make.
Before you go that route,
everybody.
Wait. Before y'all go that route, down that whole path, it's very important to understand what patriarchy is versus all the other stuff, right? Exactly. What you guys are describing is not patriarchy. You're describing leadership, financial, economic. You're describing other things that is not patriarchy. So don't confuse it. Well, in some cases, it's not always, right?
No, it's aspects of the patriarchy. It's aspects of it, but it's not the whole thing.
Patriarchy. Can you put the definition up for us?
Yeah, put the definition up. It's essentially a system built, and the foundation of the system are men, and the benefactors of that system are primarily men.
Men.
Well, what we have to deal with first is how we measure ourselves as men, which is what I'm getting at. Like it's and what Creator said that I agree with. It's not all one thing. It's an amalgamation of things.
That's not patriarchy.
Well,
that's leadership you're describing, right?
No.
He said an amalgamation, which means multiple things. So by definition, that is the correct.
But you're saying he's talking about measuring your manhood. That's different than patriarchy.
Well, let's set the table because I got it on the screen. Yeah. I mean, this what Jim Sedanius, which is a black professor or a researcher, has defined as patriarchy. Basically, the key components of patriarchy is number one, it's a group-based hierarchy. So it says the three major hierarchy axes are age, gender, and arbitrary set hierarchy, race, class, caste, etc. Patriarchy is a gender hierarchy component. So go ahead.
So basically what he's describing, he's giving a group hierarchy and then saying patriarchy is a form of group hierarchy specifically based on gender.
Yes.
So it's specifically right. So it's specifically a system built for the benefit of a particular gender mainly, which are men. What you guys describing is leadership, class, and some of the other stuff that can be taken into account.
Yeah,
for hierarchy.
Number two is speaking of what you
said.
Has to be. Number two is saying the second principle of what we call or we're referring to as is patriarchy as the system is institutional and behavior reinforcement.
Well, actually, it's saying patriarchy is maintained by these things, not that it is those things.
Okay, yeah, true. So it's saying patriarchy is maintained by go ahead. What's
compassion.
Up? Yes,
compassion.
Sir.
Present the definition first.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And while he's going to get the definition, Inspired Truth Broadcast has just come up. So Inspired Truth Broadcast, go ahead with the opening statement, and then we'll get the definition right after you're done, sir.
All right. Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, you are, my brother.
Man, good day to you guys. Good day to you, Raj. Good day to the folks on the panel and the folk in the chat. Been busy. But anyhow, I heard y'all going into some of Sedanius's work there. I just got through the book, so I had to kind of pull up and chime in on that. I wanted to kind of like throw a few things out there. Like those first two that we mentioned, the age hierarchy, the gender hierarchy, those
Well,
first two.
well, matter of fact, hold fast, because if you finna go right into this, let's let him get the definition out first and then make your opening statement, because it'll just make more sense that way. And see if you finna go right into this. So go ahead, Compassion, read that definition out for us, please.
Okay, so core social dominance theory definition of patriarchy. Social dominance theory by Sedanius and Prado. Patriarchy is a gender-based dominance system in which males form a dominant group and females the subordinate group across most societies, with men occupying the majority of high status, authority, and resource controlling positions.
Oh shit, boy, y'all gonna have a problem getting this matriarchy back together. Then,
and that's what a patriarchy is by definition. It's a gender-based dominance system which the males form a dominant group, and the females the subordinate group across the most social societies, with men occupying majority of the high status, authority, and resource controlling positions. That's patriarchy.
Okay, now and we're gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna read this and we're gonna give it back to Inspired Truth Broadcast. A shout out to Monochromatic Blues. He says, I think egalitarianism is the ideal way of life. And I'm gonna say that that's an opinion. I 100% disagree with you. That would never work.
That's impossible, bro.
Because to be truly to have egalitarianism be a real thing, that means men gonna have to take on their part and women gonna have to take on their part without excuse.
Yeah, it would require a society of equals.
But beyond the gender aspect, hold on, beyond the gender aspect, if everybody is equal, how are you getting anything done? Who's going to lead a project? Who's going to establish the control system, the mission, the objectives of anything you do? Hell, even just collecting water from a river. How do you even decide how best to do that if we're all egalitarian? It basically means everybody's equal. Everybody has equal authority. Everybody has equal presence. Everybody has equal control. How do you do anything of any substance in the modern society with egalitarianism?
In spite of
how?
Yeah. Now y'all hold fast because I got to let Inspired Truth get in here. All right. So I just wanted him to wait until we read that definition because he's going right into the same subject matter. And that was the only reason I held him up. So Inspired Truth, go ahead, my brother.
All right. So going back to those first two that were mentioned, those first two hierarchies are natural occurring hierarchies. The first one, age, that's a natural hierarchy because we don't give children the same rights and responsibilities that we give adults. The second one, gender, that one formed naturally as in nature as well because we had to have the women listen if we were going to be protecting them, if we were going to be actually having a survival of the human race. So those first two are natural hierarchies that need to be distinguished away from that arbitrary hierarchy, that third one there, where we start talking about like race and class and all those other different things. That's the main thing that I want to get out there. Now, in regards to whether we should have, going back to like the topic of the day, whether we should have a patriarchy or whether we should have a matriarchy, I look at this the same way that I look at it when you have a man walk into a restaurant, he orders what he wants, and he pays for it. And a woman walks in there and she wants to order whatever she wants, but she doesn't want to pay for it. She has no intention to pay for it. Somebody else is going to pay for it. Like, in the broader sense, this is the same thing that we see in our society when we're talking about voting and then who's actually going to be enlisted in selective services and all of that stuff. You have like directives. That's what voters do. We give orders, and then at the same time, are you willing to stand on those orders and put your life on the line for those orders? And for a percentage of, and for a certain population, the answer is no, they're not. But we have to actually do that. So that's kind of like where I'm getting. That's why a part of why patriarchy over matriarchy, because it's natural, because we're actually serving the responsibilities for the rights that we're actually getting. And at the end of the day, you have to do something that works.
So we want to protect our women, right? We really do. And I think it's why we had these conversations, is because we really want our women, and even the women coming up, to understand
What?
The women that are now and the women coming up, that I do love you. I do care about you. I want to be here.
Now, who's saying this? I just want to make sure I'm correcting. I just want to make sure I'm not
This
talking to the correct
creator.
person.
This creator.
Creator ass saying that.
Yeah, this creator. So that's how I'm gonna always come, right? But there's a certain order of things. That's why when you say we're gonna take responsibility, and that now means, like you said, admit where we didn't. Well, right. Somebody tell you did something wrong, you can admit it. Now you taking accountability, right? How you take accountability to repair, right, is on you now. Because you accused me of something. You said, damn, you didn't coach me properly. Okay, you know what? You're right. I didn't coach you properly. All right, now you're deliberately from this point forward, because I really have been coaching you properly. But since that's your excuse, we'll go with that, right? We wasn't coaching you properly, and now we're gonna deliberately notify, right? It means everything we do from this point on now is me coaching properly. And what usually happen is the same thing that happened when you was doing before. They give up before you do, and they tie into other things that don't matter. But you still try to take your time to repair something. You understand, when you really could just say, fuck it, I'm gone. And I think what we're doing right now is establishing a way of doing things for Black men, right? And that's what the patriarchy is. Here's a way that we're going to provide resources and institutions and solutions, and we're doing it deliberately moving forward, this group of men. And this is what we do over here. I don't know what they do over there, and I really don't care. I don't care about what it is that you want to do. This is where we at. You come through those doors, this is how we do things. You don't agree with that? Don't cross that threshold.
Now I'm gonna say real quick, and shout out to I'm listening. He said creator tripping, and I heard you were business, and I'm gonna say no, creator's not tripping.
At first he was, but then I kind of listened on.
No.
You know,
I'm just saying, if we want to be real about ourselves, we do want to protect the women. One of our main issues, we want to overprotect them. That's one of our main issues. We don't want to let certain ones drown. Exactly. We want to save them. Exactly. And that creates a lot of problems for men, because we want to save women who we shouldn't even be worried about. Like, bro, if you go out into the ocean and you can't swim, and you refuse to take a life jacket with you, you refuse to prepare yourself just in case you fall in the water, why am I trying to save you? You told me by choice you want to get through this thing or die.
But Roger,
I'm gonna let you have your way.
Those are the women y'all talking about protecting right now, though.
No.
Yeah. No.
I'm saying the average man wants to protect all the women, which means even the ones that ain't gonna be no good to us, we want to protect them too. Just like this young man that Compassion put in the clip, he want to protect all women. They ain't nothing y'all can tell me to convince me he don't want to protect all women. And what he said aligns with the women's sentiment that was in these other videos. So we do want to protect them, but at some point, protection means I can only protect so many because I'm not a god. See, I can accept that I'm not a god. I cannot just manipulate stuff just for the sake of wanting to. I am not a god. I only got so much money. Who am I going to choose to spend it on? And how much am I going to put on of that money into protecting somebody? I only have so much physical force I can do. Who am I going to use it on? Who is worthy of me putting it out there on the line for real for physical protection? I got to take all these different things in consideration because I am, quote unquote, limited as a human being.
I do want to ask a question, and this might throw everybody for a loop, but I'm going to ask this question. And I'm going to see, and we'll see what the responses are. What area of our society does patriarchy not exist? And there's really one possibility or one place
in the African American community.
Nope.
Where does it not exist?
Correct.
In single family homes.
Nope.
In single mother households. That's where it doesn't exist.
Patriarchy doesn't exist at the government level.
Single mother households.
How do you figure that?
Yeah, don't no more.
Because the government by law, the government by law basically owns the children. So I guess the government's functioning as a patriarch.
That's exactly why the black patriarchy needs to step up. That's what he.
I
he
mean,
hit on
no.
something.
But if the government is quote unquote ran by the women, then by definition, you got issues still.
The government performs as a matriarch.
Exactly.
The government.
How do you make that?
No, Roger. No,
how do you
Roger.
interpret that as a matriarch?
No, sir. They're performing as the patriarch specifically because that's why they want you to sign on the dotted line. Because
hold on. Let Roger explain.
Let him iron it.
Let Roger
iron
explain.
that out. I think
anything that is attached to children, they pretty much want to give it over to the women. Anything attached to children, they want the women to be in charge of.
But think about what you're saying, Rod. You said they
That's
have
what the patriarch does.
They have to put on the clothes.
Roger's argument, to support Roger's argument, if the men do not control and own the children, there is no patriarchy. Period.
Thank you.
I agree totally. So that's why the government has you sign, because if the men, that's why I was saying being deliberate, right, in parenting, you should, ain't no way you gonna say yes to nobody. You signing nothing over to nobody. Because if you there, you're not letting her sign. But what that mean too? That mean now you foot the bill. That's all it simply means. It's like, hey, we need, wait a minute, bro, let me finish my point. And I promise you can come in.
You guys are going away from truth tellers
question
though.
No, but
I know, bro. I'm telling you, the little matriarch at the top, he's still crying about stuff right now.
No.
Got it yet.
Legally, we talking legally and being we talking moving in a patriarchal way, right? An apex way of doing things, not the current way.
No, we're not talking about. We're not talking about moving.
Wait.
Slow down, pimp. Because now you're talking pimp talk. Hold on.
No, I'm not.
Let's go back to
matriarch, bro.
Let's go back to truth teller's question. Truth teller, please explain that question. I think he asked a profound question. Let's not get away from that. Now,
I asked where exactly in our society does the patriarchy not exist? And we said government, but government is patriarchy. You guys called it a right, because you called it hold on. You guys called it a matriarchy because it hands the responsibility of the children over to the women, not the ownership of the children, the responsibility of the children to the women. Well, that's exactly what patriarchy did when there was patriarchy. So it can't be a matriarchy for doing the exact same thing.
So the men, by your definition, the patriarchy exists, except it's not the men who are the patriarch, it's the government that is the patriarch.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
and what most people don't like to admit is governments are men.
Even in the US,
there's a problem
telling you how you should run your kids.
Like the women are the majority of
the Too many people are talking at one time.
In the system of patriarchy, most of the adult males are not men. There are a very small group of men who are the real patriarchs by truth teller's definition.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I want to say this too. I did say the government performs as a matriarchy. I didn't say it was. I said it performs as. Or at least that's what I meant to say if I didn't say it that way.
Right,
I agree with truth tellers that the patriarch is the government. That's the patriarch.
But
it's not a matriarchy. The reason why it's not a matriarchy is because it's giving the responsibility of the children to the women. That means the women.
That's what Roger said.
Right.
He said they're performing.
No, you misunderstand.
You're not listening.
Yeah.
It's also a patriarch because they got nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are not the province of a matriarch. They got all the power. They got all the arresting ability. They got 500 military bases in 100 different countries. That's your patriarch.
Yeah. And I do want y'all to keep in mind, I was just answering the question because he said, where is the patriarch?
No, it was a good answer.
Yeah. So I'm saying anything attached to children, that's where you're not going to really see patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? In those particular things. I am not saying the government is not a patriarch. I'm not saying that.
Wait, so truth teller, where does it not exist then? Because you ain't answered that question.
I'm saying it does exist.
Only in government.
That's why the question. No, I mean, period, everywhere. So if you looked at the definition of patriarchy, right? You look at the definition of patriarchy, and it's gender-based, essentially power, really,
And the government
right?
would keep that definition.
A
Yeah.
gender-based
Where the
hierarchy.
males,
Group
where
of
the
males.
males.
So I'll give you the examples of where this gender-based hierarchy exists. Your financial system, your military system, your business system, your court system. They all exist there.
And it's all managed by elite minority of a group of men. So
There we go.
That would fit what's profound about that is, honestly, you're in American society. The state is your patriarch, nigga. You're not a patriarch.
Basically, yeah.
You're a beta male. You're not even a beta male. Like we said, you're actually the women
You're
are
almost
sheep.
like a child.
You're
You're almost like a child.
You're a client. You're a customer. You are a customer. Hold on, y'all. Listen, real quick. Let me get in. I'm gonna come out. I just want to.
No. You need to be quiet, bro. At this point, no, bro. You need Creator. You need to be quiet, bro.
Oh, no, I don't. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Every time.
No. You clearly don't, bro.
Yes, I do.
You clearly don't.
The point of the show is not to be adversarial, to get everybody's
I'm not.
thoughts
That's not
out. So
but you need to learn how to wait your turn, then, bro. Creator, you need to learn how to wait your turn.
No. What I'm saying, usual business. You are being adversarial right now. Just chill. Let the man make his point.
You cut me
Make
off.
a counterpoint if you want.
Cut me off though. Creator
All right,
cut
go
me
ahead,
off.
brother. My apologies.
My point, which I forgot now, was damn. What the fuck was we just talking about before?
All that adversarial.
You were talking about how the state is
That's
actually
exactly why I let you go.
I
You
know.
didn't want me to go, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. Technically, like BGS has even spoken about this. Technically, the state is the alpha male patriarch. The way they manage the society is an elite small group of patriarchal alpha males basically give power to all the women in the society, making them beta males. They function as beta males.
Well, I'm gonna say I really don't like the use of alpha and beta, and no, it's never applied right. And those are not alpha males. Alpha male ain't got to have behind nobody.
I'm not using it in that way. I'm not using it in the way you're thinking about with the woman.
He's using it as primary and secondary.
I get exactly what you're saying, but it's because it's so misguided with people that I hate to even use, because I rather put out stuff that people truly can understand. And they don't understand alpha, they don't understand beta, and I didn't seen enough about it to know that the general population just can't. They ain't getting it. They just really not getting it.
I'm using, because like the general population thinks of it I'm using the way the general population thinks about superior, inferior. So I'm saying the best way to describe it that we can all understand is the state is the alpha or the superior patriarch. We live under that patriarchy. It then hands over responsibility of the children to the women, making it a de facto matriarchy under a minority group of white, essentially patriarchs. Black men have never had functioned as patriarchs within this system. So we can't just say we're patriarchs, because the way we act, the way the whole situation functions, like black men don't have control of their own children. The state can take it away.
Well, it's true, but that's not that we can't mesh different things under the whole discussion of patriarchy, right? Patriarchy does exist. In our current format of it, it's ran by the government. A government system is nothing more than a group of people working together for social norms and legal rules and enforcement of those rules and policies and blah, 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 blah. There is a patriarchy because in every area of our economy, in every area of our country, men are in the lead. The only place that patriarchy doesn't exist is in the minds of the men that already have it. Nobody up here believes we're in a patriotic system, because you've been brainwashed not to understand it and not to see it. You make more money. You're more valuable to society because of the work you do, the time you put in, the safety you provide, the laws you protect. Literally, the fact that you're here and the responsibilities that society puts on you makes it a patriarchy. Because the second something bad happens with the women or the children, the question comes up, where's the men? But we don't see it that way because we have women who just go on the internet in public and spout nonsense, and we take them seriously as if they're adults. They have us not understanding we actually exist in a patriarchy. You just don't want to implement it. And one of the other reasons you don't want to implement it is because you want to save these hoes. That's the other reason.
I gotta pause the conversation right there. Chef Mike, y'all, he got usual business and creator. He hit him with the no suit for you. So I put y'all backstage. If y'all want to stay for Bible study, of course you can get back on Bible study. But Chef Mike hit y'all with the no suit for you. It is what it is. I don't question what he or any of the rest of the pit crew does. If they hit us with the no suit for you, that's it for the day. So sorry,
shout out to
fellas,
Chef. I'm on probation.
Goes.
I'm going on mute.
I agree with everything Chef said.
All right, so
real quick, there's money to attend to. I thought it was one more. There it is. All right, this shout out to Elder Blood again. He says black men, patriarchy, and black women, matriarchy under white supremacy, authoritarianism cannot coexist. There are no exceptions nor neutrality. I'm gonna agree with that. You can't really have all three for real together at the same time. That's definitely I'm gonna say technically that is a problematic equation that we need to figure out right now. I'm gonna say that's the problematic equation we kind of living in right now. Almost, but I'm not gonna say well, I would have to tweak that a little bit. But shout out to Yoke Me. Thank you very much, my brother. And I appreciate that 57-cent Trail Bentley tax. Thank you very much. He says, etymology, patriarchy. There needs to be a pater father in power for it to exist, meaning familiar control by the father and the associated men.
That's true.
And that's why I'm going to say the first thing black men going to have to do, and I know it's hard, to have a patriarchy or to walk as a patriarchy, the first thing we got to do is believe it's okay to be in one. And I'm going to say straight up, y'all, as a person who walks around in society who views myself as a patriarch, regardless of how anybody else views me, there is going to be a penalty to pay when you move like that because you're going to upset people. And that's real talk. Now, the thing is, are you going to back off how you living because you upset some people, or you going to accept what comes with upsetting people? Because society don't want no black patriarchs. Y'all think I don't run into people every day who talk to me like I'm not a man? Who going to correct them if I don't? But if I don't correct them, then they get away with it. And they're going to do the same thing to the next black man. So there's a price to be paid with this stuff. You know, it ain't all peaches and cream.
The black patriarchy is a different animal, though. So that's a whole different animal, a whole different game as far as patriarchy. That's not even patriarchy. That's a completely different fight.
Arguably, you can't really have a patriarchy if the state don't support male empowerment.
That's actually
I don't believe that to be true.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna say let me let me get the super chat out. Shout out to Detroit 313. Good to see you, my brother. He says, didn't I tell you that your super chats is coming soon, Roger? Hashtag brutality. You did tell me that, my brother, and I did appreciate it, and I appreciate your support right now, and that's real talk. And I'm gonna say this, y'all. Whenever government change is created, the people have to change first. That's usually how it goes. Any government putting in something that the people really don't like on a mass level is either going to be changed immediately or you're going to have some form of revolution. You got to get the people to go with it first. And in an American society, every group of people has agreed that black men should never be a patriarchy, including black women. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, how do we go from being matriarchal to patriarchal, which is what the show is really truly about? But when you got a mindset like the young man on the screen, which I'm not even trying to like do anything to him, he's young, he got time to fix it. Okay, hopefully he will. I don't know, but all I can do is hope for him at this point. The thing is, we're gonna have to accept it ourselves first. If we accept it ourselves first, then we'll start moving in our personal lives that way, and then you can get other people to be convinced that maybe something should change from a government perspective. But the government ain't gonna change it first. That's just reality. The government is not gonna change anything first.
Yeah, I'm suspicious of the argument you make, Roger, because I see a lot of top-down changes. You know, I mean, the NBA was all white, and then Red Auerbach said, you know, Bill Russell and these guys can play. Then suddenly the NBA became all black. That wasn't like a society thing. That was like a sort of top-down. This is better for us as the masters. So, and everybody went along with it. First, the fans wouldn't have wanted to see an all-black basketball team. Now, the white fans have no problem with an all-black basketball team. In fact, if anything, they probably would prefer it.
Yeah.
And because they've been made to understand that black athletes are generally superior and more entertaining. I mean, white people in general, especially European, are sheep. They've proven that historically. They've gone along with all kinds of top-down shit. Hitler being the ultimate example of that, you know, the past century. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and to some degree that's true. And maybe for black people in particular, we have had sort of grassroots uprisings of some sort. But generally throughout history, especially in America, and especially with the European, them some top-down motherfuckers.
Yeah, like you said, those are basically exceptions that prove the rule. Like the civil rights movement and shit proves that more often than not that the social designers will actually change society than grassroots.
I have a question for Black Uru.
But before you ask that question, let me just say this. I can totally agree with what Black Uru just said. And I'm also going to say, I don't think black men should wait for some white man from the top down to say these niggas should be men. No, I'm not saying you saying that. I'm not saying you're saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying you said that at all. Because I agree with what you're saying. Because most changes do come from top down. If we're realistic about stuff, most changes do come from top down. But I do know society has to accept the change, or you will have a revolution. But when you think about it, revolutions happen a lot less than changes do. So that's why I'm saying. That's why I gotta agree with your point. You know what I'm saying? You made a legitimate statement that I really can't argue. Most changes are not facing revolutions. So you're right.
I like how you said you mentioned the fact of effective matriarchy, and that it was important that you said effective, because when you look at like the structure of society, you have families. You have families together, then that creates communities. You have communities together, then that creates a nation. And some of these things work from top down. Some of these things work from bottom up. But if you have a family structure that's effectively matriarchal, then you end up having a matriarchy. If you end up having a voting pattern, because like the majority of voters are women, because the majority of the population is women, it's kind of still in their hands which direction we end up going, since we have that. And the thing that's still mind blowing is that we still have selective service. We still have men on the line of having to defend the decisions that are made without having more say than, because you're paying and you don't have more say for paying versus somebody that isn't paying but effectively has more say because they have more population.
Right.
Well,
look, I'm not a sociologist or a anthropologist or an archaeologist or anything like that, so I don't have the professional background to assert this position beyond that of a layman's status. I have yet to encounter an effective matriarch. I mean, to me, that term's a misnomer. That's oxymoronic. From what I've observed of this. Yeah.
They can't exist.
I mean, I don't even know how I don't know how it can, absent some isolated area on the earth where there are few, if any,
they die off quick if they
opposing tribes, predatory animals. I don't see how that effectively exists, because ultimately the men have to be in the lead to defend and preserve that particular community. So I don't. So when you say effective matriarchy, I don't see how that fundamentally works in the reality of human beings
It doesn't work.
historically.
It doesn't work, and it's not working now.
Well, no. You don't understand. It can't exist.
No,
Right. So matriarchy cannot exist. Its fundamental problem is it cannot make the actionable decisions to exist. You know, the whole island thing, when they sent them chicks to the island, they didn't help them chicks out. They'd be dead already within like a week. Not even the full series.
Wait, you saying a matriarchy doesn't exist?
It can't exist.
It can't
cannot.
exist.
Well, it can't. Well, look, it can't exist in the way we think about. See, we think about matriarchy as a exact opposite.
It can exist as a sub. It can exist as
a subgroup.
Patriarchy.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's the only way it can exist. So therefore, it's not a matriarchy. It's just part of a patriarchy. That's what I'm saying. It cannot physically exist.
Well, no,
it can't. It can't even function to survive.
Let's unpack it, Truth. Because matriarchy is really based around the nucleus of control. So you can have a society where the women of your society, the elder women, have control over society,
but they don't.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Let me finish. It would always have to be supported by males. So
right, no, I get you, but you're missing my point. It cannot exist because they would have to be the decision makers with men as a supplementary support for the group.
That's what they're doing now.
No, look,
that's not what they're doing now.
Since the survival of the group is the primary determinant, is the most important thing.
Men are always going to be
rational. Why would rational males tender superior leadership when the men themselves are going to have to determine whether that group survive? That's not rational.
Yeah, look, Sedanius kind of lays out the history. It was a logical matriarchy predates patriarchy, so matriarchy can exist.
That's not true.
Certain conditions. Matriarchy evolves into patriarchy.
How is that group surviving though? How is that group actually surviving, resisting threats, resisting rape, resisting pillaging? How is it surviving?
Humanity, matriarchy can only exist as the first form of this as an initial form of humans grouping. It can't exist when other patriarchies exist already.
Sorry, can you explain to me how that is?
What I'm gonna say,
what's the timeline of that? Like 50,000, 100,000. I mean, I don't see how. In what period of time? In what period of time are there not males that are going to predate on weaker females?
When we were
at what time in history is that?
And when we were in tribes of less than 100.
Now, are you saying we all spawned? Are you saying there was this period where we were all females and all spawned? From females as some sort of,
this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, Uru. I'm saying the archaeologists, this is what they say. They say matriarchy was the initial social system that when we were really small bands of humans, when it was not that many humans on the planet, the first system we before we even understood how mating or how reproduction, animal husbandry or anything, we were matriarch. That's where matriarchy comes from. The women.
So we were we were matrifocal through the women because of determination of parentage. Yes. That's true. But that don't mean the women ran the community.
Right.
Up to a certain point, that's what matrifocality is. But it only once you
but matrifocality means but even the males who are coming from that matrifocality is going to prevail. They're going to dominate again, just for the purposes of survival and eating.
Yes, after a certain point. So you have to start somewhere. After this is your tribe scales to a certain point above a certain number of people, and obviously above a critical mass of males, you evolve into a patriarchy for the reasons you're saying. It's not logical that the males are going to follow a bunch of women when they got to fight wars.
Follow me on this.
Into the context too.
I gotta interject something in because I feel these people didn't. All right, now look, different people have different beliefs on where humans came from. I'm more of a Bible believer, so I believe it started with Adam and Eve. Patriarchy was automatically first because men came first. Men have to establish stuff so women can literally survive. Okay. Now, depending on how deep you go, because there's the whole thing about how the whole earth was spring-like until the great flood came. So women could quote unquote survive a little bit better. But once the fruit was eaten and the animal's nature changed, my thing is women couldn't survive without the men anyway. Because now it was peaceful at first, but now the animals will attack people because their nature had changed at that point. So I don't even understand how you can have anything but patriarchy at the beginning. Now, if you believe a different orientation from where humans came from, if you have any group of men together with any group of women, animals being what they are, and they will attack if they believe they are threatened or they think it's necessary for them to eat. I don't understand any way women could have ever been in charge first. It just don't make sense to me based on what humans are. How can a woman be in charge and she cannot protect me from the animals, nor can she protect me from the weather?
Can I answer the question? If populations of those species are small enough and we're not fighting over resources, then it could be a society of women ran because they're not close to other species because they're not large enough. Once they get too big or too numerous and start bumping into each other and competing for resources, patriarchy springs forth. But
even those women you're describing are going to give birth to males who are going to be bigger, stronger, and faster than them.
And they will just function like a hyena clan, Uru. Until they have
why would in that environment the men automatically submit to the female?
This only exists in a utopian society
because there's no incursion from other threats of other males. If you in a
hold on.
Hold on, Truth. Let me lay this out.
If
you thought about if we imagine a reserve, a gated off, huge swath of land, gated off, and you put two small bands of human tribes in that area. Until they got large enough and took over enough territory, they wouldn't necessarily have to compete for the resources. So for a period, they could run it on some communal non-warfare. They could do some matriarchal shit. Inevitably, though, as they scale, they would end up competing for the resources, which is where you get patriarchy.
But even within that group, compassionate. Let's say there is no threat from outside.
Right. You would still need
even
men
within that group. If I'm the bigger, stronger person, why am I deferring to the smaller, weaker person?
Right.
Because you're short-lived and you're younger.
Gave birth to you. Because mama can say I gave birth to him, and I can
but when mama passes away and I have my wife,
but my girl, but my wife didn't give birth to me.
Right. No. So this is what I'm trying to get. So this is what I'm trying to get at. So what you're describing is the only way a matriarchal system like what you're describing could exist if there were no men.
Yeah, the men were dead because of short-lived.
Right. So the reason why everybody thinks hyenas, we criticize. They only give the hyena example to women who act like men because hyenas have a thing that looks like a penis. That's the only reason. Hyenas cater to their men. I don't know why nobody ever looked this up on Animal Planet.
No, I get that, but the question I would ask is: do men don't necessarily compete unless they have to?
Well, but you're misunderstanding something. They don't have to compete with each other to take control of women.
But why would they? Why in a small band, a tribe of people that don't have to compete, we have plenty of resources. What would compel the men to take over?
Because somebody has to lead that group. Why would the primary?
Hold on. Wait a minute. When are males not competing? Put two-year-old boys
in the Mouse Utopia experiment.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Well, but that's a specific set of circumstances and contrivance of reality.
Well, no,
I'm just saying in just natural society, when you put two-year-old boys in a room together, they're going to be wrestling and fighting right off the start. The competition between males That's one of the most natural
inspired.
things to happen between men.
Of course it is, but I'm saying that's
only inspired truth.
Yeah.
Your answer defeats your argument. It only exists in a utopian society.
No,
that's Compassion and Cass who said that. Not Inspired. Don't blame that. Don't blame Inspired Truth.
Oh, Compassion. I'm sorry. Compassion.
Blaming the wrong nigga.
My bad. My bad. But what I wanted to say was that women will not
with that effective.
That's true.
Inspired started it with that functional or effective whatever bullshit he said about a matriarchy. So that is what started.
But go ahead. Wait. Let me make this statement real quick, and I'll let you guys finish. Women, even in the absence of men, will not organize themselves to get anything done. That's why there can't be a matriarchy. They will not organize themselves.
That's my point. It won't happen. They won't exist.
I'm with him 100%, and I want to also further that point.
Themyscira is a comic book. That's in a comic book. That's the only place that exists.
I love Wonder Woman. I just want to say that I love Wonder Woman.
Shout out to Wonder Woman. And I'm gonna say when it comes down to it, the reason I don't believe it was ever a matriarchy, because at some point in time somebody had to put up a hut, somebody had to put up some form of a building of some kind, somebody had to pick what cave we gonna go to, someone had to pick who gonna pick some berries and who gonna go kill the lion, because there were tasks to be done. I don't think there was ever a matriarchy first, because women and tasks don't go together. It's hard to get women to do tasks. If you listen to what women say now, they want their lifestyle to be task free. That's what they argue about all the time. Women are not cool with just doing tasks in general. They're cool with doing stuff they want to do. We may see it as a task, going to get your hair done. We might see it as a task. That's just something they like to go do. They don't like tasks at all. Not a general woman, period. So I don't ever believe that there was ever a matriarchy first. And I'm going to say, y'all, this where we also should remember there's a difference between scientific fact and scientific theory. I get people can theorize that a matriarchy came first, but remember, it's just a theory. It's not a fact. Facts and theories are different. Okay? How could you look at how humans operate and come to the conclusion that anybody had a matriarchy first when women are very, very much anti-task oriented? They're very much not task oriented at all. You literally got to pay them to do tasks for the most part. They'll go do a task at a job if they're getting paid for it. But think about how all the different groups of men have asked women to do stuff and they've been slow about doing it because they didn't think they need to do it at all, or they definitely don't need to do it that fast.
Wait. Are we taking like current behaviors and projecting them like 50 years into the past?
No. I'm saying from a general concept, women, period. They've just never been that task oriented. In the past, they've done stuff because they believe it needed to be done. But any woman who's been in a position where she didn't really believe she needed to do tasks, those women usually ain't that quick to do a task.
No, you're right at scale, Roger, but we can't. At scale, you're right. But they can, if their survival depended on it, they're human beings. I mean, women aren't.
They don't
take care of them, though.
No, hold on. No. Women don't respond the same way men do to life-threatening survival situations. Currently and in the past, this is not anything new. The way they act to survival is the same way they acted centuries past. They haven't changed.
That's true, and of course, I'm not arguing who's the more.
That's not what the point. What I'm trying to point out is what you're saying is at some point in time in the past, they were able to do it on their own because the only way they can do it without men is on their own.
It was never
because
if they were able to manage this a small society. Yes, that's what I'm
right. But even when you say manage a small society, if men are present, they are dominant.
No.
That is you know how you have the approximation sign versus the equal sign, meaning is versus maybe.
What?
It is an equal sign when it comes to if men are present in a community of women, whoever those men are, they are the dominant people in that community. That's an equal sign.
I think
There's no way around
you're
that.
reading the nature of men today after millions of years.
No. I'm reading the example of history.
Yes, I know
every culture.
We
You're right.
in the present right now, though.
All right,
But
y'all.
hold on.
Let me say this real quick. We got a few more minutes to go. I'm finna step away real quick because I gotta handle something. Mama tell you we might have 20 to 30 minutes. Then we finna bring this broadcast to a close, regardless of where we at. And remember, the point of the conversation was about going from being so matriarchal to going from patriarchy. And I think a lot of stuff that's being said shows why. Even to this day, it's going to be hard to get black men to go away from matriarchy to patriarchy because number one, it's not quote unquote seen as necessary. You got a lot of men who've been raised by girls and women, but women teach you don't need to do it. Somebody else is going to do it. So you don't really need to earn money because somebody else is going to do it. We're going to live off the government. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of black men have a terrible transition and find out the government don't really want to take care of them. Okay. Then it's, who's going to maintain stuff that's already been provided? Notice women don't really take care of homes too well. If you give a woman a home, that home is probably going back to the government or it's going to end up being a burned down lot or a decapitated
Dilapidated.
or whatever.
Dilapidated.
Yeah, dilapidated. You know what I'm saying? Because they just not gonna take care of it. A lot of stuff that we give to women just is almost like throwing it in the ocean. It ain't gonna ever be used again once she done with it. So I think it's really a bunch of men's mentality right now because they come from this dysfunctional single mother anti-family community that it's hard for them to switch. I need to be more patriarchal. And I'm saying in the beginning, the most important thing is your mindset. Because if you don't even believe you should be in charge and you don't believe responsibility should come to you and you're not able to disseminate who should I be responsible or you're not able to determine who I should be responsible for to who I should not be responsible for because I'm not taking on the responsibility of any random woman I see. I told y'all even with that girl that walked us the other day, y'all laughed about it, but I told her, you being a 19-year-old girl, if you want to get my help, I'm going to make you have to do certain things. I don't care how you feel about it. And yeah, I put it out there. If you try to set me up, I will kill you and everybody you talking about because I don't really care about your outcome like that. You got to be able to do stuff like that with people in order for them to. But what man wants to really do that? A lot of men don't want a patriarchy because they just see it as easier to do it the matriarchal way. Let mama and them do it. And that's just a real thing. Let mama and them do it. I don't want to do it. Let mama and them do it. And I got to step away for a second, but I'll be back to shut this thing down. So y'all do what y'all can do while y'all
I'm gonna try to keep
I
these hyenas under control.
I got just one thing real quick. Like I know y'all got super triggered like when Compassionate said that, but like look. What he's talking about is actually plausible if you consider the fact that we were short-lived, when we consider the fact that we didn't have the same access of information that we have now. We didn't have writing all the time. We didn't have manuscripts all the time. We didn't have a flow of information. So whoever lived the longest, whoever was able to actually survive enough to tell anything about a society actually would make sense that they would actually dictate some things. Like, because remember what we said earlier about the age-based hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing.
Yeah. And I'm saying, and look, I mean, all of my claim really is that matriarchy predates patriarchy. That's all I'm saying. It's a natural evolution from a small group of humans that just acquire consciousness. Like you said, don't even have necessarily writing and shit yet. Small band of 25 people trying to survive that don't even know how the sperm and eggs work. They don't know how any of this works. It's all superstition and myth and wives' tale. Those are the initial phases of civilization. That obviously doesn't last long. I'm not saying that matriarchy is some pillar of it's a phase in human civilizations. That's all I'm saying, and that's the archaeological theory.
And it's
That's
not a
what
value judgment.
hold on. I hear what y'all saying is an archaeological theory,
Mm-hmm.
but that theory is completely illogical with how we know women have always functioned. So, in order for you to have a patriarchy, means the women are the leaders. Well, you just described a primitive group of people.
Yep.
When in God's name have a primitive group of people not have the most dominant as the leader?
No, they would have a tribunal of mothers. That's how they used
That's
to do
not
it.
primitive.
Yes, that is. That's the tribal. That's the primitive tribal way. That's the first organization of society. You saw it in Native American cultures. They have tribal.
Why would a primitive people who can't read, who can't write, who just stepped out of the mud suddenly say, you know what, let's get a tribunal going and we're gonna see what these ladies say?
They had a
Does that even make
tribunal
sense?
of women, but they also had a chief who was the final authority.
They always had a chief.
None of those Native American communities were just had this tribunal of women. They
never had a female chief either, by the way. No Native American tribe ever reported having a female chief.
Right. We looking at see it's hard to conceptualize because we're talking about such a long process. You're right. In these examples y'all cited in pseudo modern and pre-modern civilization that we can all look back on history, yes, there's a patriarchal element to all of them. But I'm saying, or the archaeologists say, that was an evolution from when we first started out as small as bands of Homo sapiens. The mother goddess was the first god because they didn't understand how humans actually were, that sperm and how that shit worked. Because mama gave birth to men, the males revered the mothers. But
I'm not saying that would be the case. Hear me out.
Control the society from it's a religious
I hear that. I'm not, and don't get me wrong. That is very plausible. That does not mean that was a matriarch society. That does not mean that. We already went over. We already went over what the definition is. It's a hierarchical structure where the gender, i.e., men, are the focal point. The reason why men would be the focal point because they would be the most dominant. Because if men said no, there's nothing women can do to stop them.
And
that's why. Right, and that's why, and this is why I'm saying, amongst other things, and I said this earlier, a matriarch cannot actually exist in reality. And y'all niggas is stepping over that because you just don't understand. It cannot function on its own. It needs a primary. It needs a man to make certain decisions tactically, efficiently, and effectively. So therefore, there could never be a matriarchy if it requires a man to lead them.
At civilization scale, you're right, but at a tribal small group level, it can be. They can.
Quick question: why do you think a tribal small group level wouldn't have a dominant man in it?
Exactly. Listen, if there's a tribal group, which means there's really no written laws, what woman is going to dominate what man? When? How? What?
That's what I'm saying. None of this makes sense. What you're saying. That theory is cool.
I'm telling you.
It's not even natural. It doesn't even naturally make sense. You're literally saying in a primitive state, suddenly women will be the dominant species. What?
Without the police, the women run everything.
Black culture is a good example.
Hold on. Because at this point, compassionate, you've been defending a position, quite ardently. That, I don't know, maybe we need to do some background study on in terms of specifically the specifics of the argument. And that way, maybe we can get some broader insight on the argument that was being made. I still sort of maintain some suspicion of the theory, but there may be some context or whatever, I don't know, that
sure
might
I am leaving out a lot
to become
sure.
acquainted. But I know we are at the point where obviously in modern day the patriarchy prevails, and I think Truth Teller was very helpful with identifying who the real patriarch is in modern America, and maybe you can say in the entire world system, and this is relatively small cabal of government, but plutocrats above them, business, billionaires, and in some cases near trillionaires, who are really sort of dictating, who are the real sort of patriarch, and we're all sort of various degrees of minion within that patriarchy. And within that patriarchy is this deviant subset of gynocratic, this gynocratic group that has been made effectively by the patriarchy as a means of control against potential threats to the broader, world order or national order.
How I digest what you just said is essentially we're in a patriarchy in a name only. The only patriarchs are the elite white men of this society. They essentially, from a functional standpoint, created a matriarchy so that they could control other potential patriarchs, which would be the subgroups of Black, Latino, Asian, other potential threats, right? Or other white men, other potential threats to their patriarchy. They've essentially used the idea that we're all a patriarchs, but then functionally made the environment a matriarchy so that we'd be suppressed too much to actually functionally behave like patriarchs.
So effectively, you're saying there's levels to this. This is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
I'd actually go against that. You cannot have a matriarchy if the hoes ain't in charge.
No, you.
I don't know why we keep.
No, you can't. You can have an artificial. You can have a woman-ran society that is actually empowered by an outside patriarchy that allows them to function like a matriarch.
It's sort of it's a hegemonic force or overlord,
but that
sort of.
I see. I think everybody's just so hell bent on the word matriarchy.
Yeah.
If the hoes are not in charge, there is no matriarchy. Get it in your head. So you can say. So if there's hold on. If there's another group of men, it should be like, oh, they got these hoes working against us.
Yeah.
That just means these hoes are tools of these other men.
It does, but it means they have proxy power, which is still power.
Yeah. But it's not a matriarchy.
Okay. This is the gynocracy that we're talking about. It's not a matriarchy.
But hold on. So, and you're right. But what this boils down to is we have been programmed to want to believe that they're in charge.
It's a matriarchy. Yeah, but they're not.
So we want to keep saying, because you hear men say this all the time, and I'm like, do y'all niggas even know what a matriarchy is?
So the correct term would be we live in a gynocratic
culture. No, we actually don't. If the nigga in charge is using tools to manipulate us, we can't say that the tools that he's using to manipulate us is the name of the organizational structure. That's crazy.
I get exactly what you're saying, Truth. You're saying essentially the patriarchy is empowering the matriarchy, so it's not really
there is no matriarchy.
But we couldn't describe what the fuck we're talking about if we didn't.
The patriarchy is using reckless and unruly women to control us. That's all it's doing.
Okay, this is semantics.
It's not. You went out. We can't hear you.
Necessarily semantics. I mean, I get what you're getting at, Truth Teller, but from a point of view of actually trying to articulate it.
So here, let me see why.
You saying basically, you just tell me if I'm right, so we can make sure we understand it. We're just not talking.
Yeah.
You saying a matriarchy and gynocracies can't actually exist because they can't enforce their own power.
They can't exist because they can't sustain themselves.
They can't sustain their own power. 100%.
No. They can't sustain their own existence.
Okay. I get what you're saying. But essentially, what else would you call it then? If
a patriarchy.
The situation we're in, just a patriarchy?
Yeah.
So you think women don't have any power whatsoever? None.
They clearly do.
No authority.
Yeah,
this is what you're saying.
Well, quick question: if the patriarchy say these hoes don't have power, do they have it?
No. You're doing a what if. You're doing a what if.
Right.
So
no, I'm just testing your logic. If patriarchy says these hoes don't have any power, do they have power?
they don't.
If you have a middle management,
So then they can't be a matriarchy and they can't be in charge. They're just following orders just like everybody else.
Go ahead, Truth.
So here,
what was you saying? Inspired Truth.
I was saying that.
Damn, you broke up.
Yeah, you broke up again. Inspired
the
Truth.
executive branch. It's not the CEO, CFO, but it's still something that actually exists. You can't ignore that.
Yeah,
nobody said it doesn't exist. You're just calling it the wrong thing, and you're trying to stage it as something that it's not.
Well, what's the right thing, Truth Teller? You keep telling us we're wrong, but you're not describing what's right.
I said it like 30 minutes ago. You are in a patriarchy. You just don't. Hold on. You are in a patriarchy, but you want to believe a matriarchy exists.
See, Truth, I know you're going to disagree with this now because now you sound like a feminist. The feminists use that logic. They basically say you're in a patriarchy already. They start from the premise that you're in a patriarchy. So
they're right.
You have control of women have no power. That's their whole logic. You're in a patriarchy.
That's I didn't say all of that. I said that you are in a patriarchy.
No.
You are in a patriarchy. You just don't realize it.
Truth Teller, you're arguing your point so much that you don't want to believe anybody else has anything valid to say. This is what's happening. Sometimes you're brilliant, but you do a bad job of explaining and answering the questions that people are asking they can get clarity.
Tell me what have I explained so far to you?
Tell you inconsistent.
Please tell me.
You're making the claim that we're in a blanket patriarchy based on, just like intersectional feminists make the claim that they start from the premise that we're in a patriarchy. So
I gave you examples of why we were when I asked the question. Did I not give you guys the examples of why we are in a patriarchy?
No, I'm not saying you didn't. But
so then why are you saying I didn't explain when I did?
No, I didn't say you didn't. I'm saying you made the. You're basically saying we're in a blanket patriarchy. That's the claim you're making. So
not a blanket patriarchy. We are in a patriarchy.
But see, that
you guys are having trouble with the hierarchical structure of this patriarchy.
No, we're not having trouble with the hierarchical structure. We're asking you from the micro point, like, what is this thing that we're describing, and you're not telling us what it is.
I gave you the reasons earlier. Y'all niggas don't listen.
He don't want to.
I told you. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Hold on. The problem is what entity are we referring to? Are we referring to America? Are we referring to
I'm referring to America. America.
Because America is a patriarchy. But
yes.
Look at it as you would look at a multinational corporation that wholly owns other corporations. Now, those subsidiary corporations are wholly owned by that multinational. However, those wholly owned corporations can and very often do operate quite independently of that parent company. Now,
but always in the interest of the parent company.
They're always in the interest of the overall parent company, but the employees are employees of that subsidiary. Their job is to do what effectively achieves the mission of that subsidiary. So I think in a way you guys are kind of arguing, it's a sort of an unnecessary debate in a way, because truth is right. It is a patriarchy, but boots on the ground for black people and black men, for how we're going to live and how we're going to make families and marriages, and it's effectively a gynocracy. It's effectively a gynocracy.
And this relates to what I asked.
Broader superstructure. Yeah. Within a broader superstructure of a patriarchy.
I said that 10 minutes ago. I was trying to explain to him that what we're in culturally would be a gynocracy underneath the patriarch.
Right, but that's not what anybody wants to believe. They want to believe a matriarchy exists. And I keep saying matriarchies cannot exist, literally. I don't mean theoretically. I don't mean maybe. I don't mean any. Literally, a matriarchy cannot exist.
Well, see, I think
Yes.
where we getting caught up because we are using terms kind of loosely because a gynocracy is the definition is woman rule. Women are not,
Yes.
what truth point
They
is
they don't rule
anything. So
Right.
in strict terms, you can't be in a gynocracy because that would be like an Amazonian tribe actually
Correct.
forcing you to do what
Yeah.
they say. We're not in the Amazonian.
It's a pseudonym. It's a pseudonym. It's a pseudonym.
Right.
It's not.
Remember,
it's not a real thing, but it effectively operates as a real thing.
And that's what we trying to describe is the reality. The reality is
So
we're
remember
what the black community is a matriarchy or a gynocracy backed by a white patriarchy.
that means it's not
Exactly.
a patriarchy or a gynocracy.
Well,
If
so
it's
what is
backed
it?
by
What would
something
you-
else,
What would you
This
define
is
it?
it's part of the patriarchy. So here, let me remember when y'all were talking about Uru gave the two examples.
That's
You want to go to
that's what
war
he said.
with an
That's what he said. True. That's
what?
what he
You're not,
said. He
that's what
said
I'm
it's
telling
No, hear
you.
me.
patriarchy. That's what he said.
No, but I'm saying, but those names mean they cannot be a sub of something. That's what I'm saying. Don't call them that. They're not that.
No, I
You
made
do
it
not
very-
want
I made it very
you don't want to deflect from the point of who the true problem is.
No, I made
Right?
it very specific. The black community is a payback gynocracy. That's the
See?
description of it.
See?
What problem do you have with that?
It's a patriarchy, period. We don't need to say it's a gynocracy. They are tools of this patriarchy. We know that already. Why do we need to give them a leadership? Why do we need to give them a leadership designation in the entire system? Remember when you were talking about when Uru said, hey, do you want to go to war with a nigga who can't really fight, but he's loyal to you versus a nigga who can fight, but he's not loyal to you? And my response to that was, I don't really care about either two niggas' choices.
No.
I want to know who sent that nigga.
Let me push back. No, it can't. It's not just a patriarchy through and through because if it was a white backed patriarchy, white men would use black men as.
That's
as
right.
tools.
They can't. They can't
Yes,
use
they
black
could.
men.
They
could.
can.
No, they
They
can't.
choose not to.
They
They
could.
choose
No.
not to.
They could. If it was patriarchy uses the males, white men
No,
are not using
patriarchy.
black men as
No.
their
That's not true. Patriarchies use any subordinates under their patronage.
No, patriarchies do not. They empower their subordinate males.
They empower males.
Patriarchy. That's why it's,
They don't
Nah,
look up the
nah, truth.
look up.
Truth
Okay.
teller, you don't want to admit the truth. You don't
Y'all
want to
niggas
admit
are
the
crazy.
truth this time.
Why do y'all?
No,
Why do y'all need why do you guys need to have an organized group of women that have power?
In a patriarchy, a truth teller. In a true
Yeah.
patriarchy, you are going to empower the subordinate males because you're going to need them ultimately to maintain the society.
True. Very true.
So you are
So quick
gonna
question.
empower the subordinate.
No, truth teller, you got to listen, bro. Like you're off on this one.
That's why we're putting in a distinction.
Why do you think they will not empower black men?
Because it's not a patriarch. They're not functioning.
Well, hold on, wait. Listen to what Uru just said. Uru, can you say what you just said again?
No,
They won't empower black men because of the concerns ultimately about the talent level and the
Thank you.
controllability of black men.
We're a threat.
And
We
because
cannot be
I can
empowered.
be assured,
Fine.
even if they have the talent. Look, it's one thing if I have Michael Jordan on the basketball court. That's great. I can leverage that to my wealth and all of that. There's a whole other thing when I got to compete against them in boardrooms and for women and controls over communities and governments and stuff like that.
We're a threat.
And that's why they
simply
want
put.
power.
So it can't function the way you're saying, truth teller, because
I'm not. All I said is their patriarchy. It is a patriarchy because they're using their subordinates to control other subordinates. They are only, and y'all, all you guys want to do is associate. Well, they're giving these chicks power. They're actually not really giving them power.
Gender does matter, though.
No, bro.
Hold on, it does.
No, bro. We're not gonna stop talking because you don't agree. We're not gonna agree with you because you don't like it.
That's not what I'm doing.
Let's calm down. We already got Chef pulling soups and shit. So let's calm it down.
He'll pull mine. Yeah. So I'm like literally every point that I've made, I'm literally giving physical evidence and logic. And y'all niggas just step past it and keep making the same point.
But truth teller, the only thing you all are arguing about is terminology. You guys aren't really disagreeing.
But I think
because you don't like the fact that they are referencing to an activity as something that you believe to be a misnomer, which I don't necessarily disagree with. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure of the value of the debate at this point because, again, effectively, if I'm a black kid, let's break this down, at a microscopic level. If I'm a black boy being born into a world where there are women all around, it doesn't really matter to me that everything at the highest possible level is a patriarchy. If I'm coming into a world where all the teachers are female, all of the parents are female, the church is all female, I am as that child effectively in a matriarchy, in a gynocracy.
True.
Functionally, yes.
To a point. So this is why I go with the same point and everything. The fundamental understanding of the thing you exist in is important for you to be aware of, for you to combat it appropriately.
Yeah.
If I walk around thinking I exist in a matriarchy and the matriarchy is a problem, and I don't realize it's actually a patriarchy, they just got these hoes on my back, then I'm fighting the wrong people. So when I keep reiterating, hey, you guys are using this term saying it's this when it's not actually that, all I'm trying to do is make sure we fundamentally understand what the situation actually is. My career,
in warfare, you have tactics and you have strategy.
Exactly.
And the tactics are closer to you, more immediate issues. So on a tactical level, I'm gonna have to deal with these bitches.
No, I'm not saying I deal with them. You miss me.
No,
you missed my point.
Strategically, I got to deal with the man. I get that. I'm not disagreeing.
You have to strategically deal with. Right. I'm not saying that. I don't know why y'all think. I'm not saying that you don't have to deal with the women. What I'm saying is if you understand how the monster is built that you're up against, you can make more effective strategies. But if you just think the monster you're up against is only 6 feet tall versus a nigga being 12 feet tall, when you think you got it defeated at 6 feet and you look up, I got 6 more feet coming. God damn, why did I know this? I made a better strategy.
But here's the problem though. Here's the problem. We're not going to overturn we're not going to overturn America. We're not going to overturn. Not at all. Let me finish. For Christ's sake, I mean, the broader patriarchal thing. Yeah, we all agree that exists in our lifetime. In any of our immediate lifetime, what are any of us going to be able to do about that?
Well, to respond to what you just said, 30 minutes ago, we didn't all think that. That's the first problem. So now that we understand, okay, the shit is actually a patriarchy, and they got these hoes working against us, don't you think we can make better strategies if we put our mind to it now that we understand that? Or am I wrong?
No, it's a matter of specificity.
We didn't understand that because most of y'all didn't think we were in a patriarchy. Y'all all thought we was in a matriarchy, and it's these hoes' fault.
We can't just leave it at patriarchy. It's not being specific enough. If you had to describe this to an auditorium of 10-year-old black boys, that what situation you're actually in, I think the best description of that would be, nigga, you're in a white patriarchy-backed gynocracy or matriarchy.
I wouldn't disagree with you fully on that.
The reason why women run that would be a more specific, so it orientates you to your point. You need to know what exactly situation you're in. You're not in just a matriarchy. You're not in just a gynocracy. You're in a white patriarchy-backed matriarchy, if you want to be nice. Gynocracy, if you want to be accurate.
See, when you use that term,
no, you gotta stop. You gotta let him finish. You can't stop him because No. You keep stopping
Are you
us
finished?
whenever we. No, I'm not. Well,
Not
you keep
you. I'm
stopping,
talking about him. You told me I'm stopping him. He just finished.
bro, because you keep doing the same thing over and over. You keep
What am I
stopping us
doing
when
over
we.
and over?
Was
He's
compassion.
finished.
Hold on,
You're
You're
not
now.
cutting off.
listening.
You're cutting
Wait
off
a
his
minute, bro. Now
description. There's more
you
words
hold
coming.
on,
You
great,
just
He's
great
you
cutting
Joe.
me
going over
off.
his
Hold on,
favorite
reset.
word.
Hold on. Damn. Now were you finished, compassion?
I was not.
Were you
I was
finished,
not.
bro?
I wasn't.
Okay, sorry,
Okay,
compassion.
well,
My fault.
finish, please,
It's all
please.
good. No, my point is we have to your point, Truth, if we want to be specific or accurate about what we describe in the systems we describe, and so we can solve it. And to your point, Uru, the goal really isn't to tear down the patriarchy, it's to realize we're competing factions of patriarchies. So we want to get Black boys to realize the matriarchal system your community functions as is contributing to you not competing against the patriarchy that is actually empowering the women to stifle your competition. So they have to know that women are in charge or placed in charge by a white dominant patriarchal society. That's the first phase, because most Black men don't even want to get past that. Once you can understand that, you can understand, okay, how is that white patriarchal out group using my women against me, and how can I move to thwart that offensive? So you can start to actually compete against the other patriarchy. That's all we want to do is compete. We don't need to destroy anything or tear down. The reason why they organize the society the way they is that they got men in a position not really recognizing that it's a competition of patriarchies like it always is. So that's why we have to be accurate in what we're describing as a system, and we have to account for the female empowerment of that system. That's the huge blind spot. When you tell men you're in the patriarchy, they don't think deep enough about what they're actually encountering. They're not going. Mama's going to be a blind spot if they think they're competing strictly against white males.
And you play yourself into the hand. And someone else said this earlier, and I agree. You kind of play yourself in the hands of the feminists when you do that, because then they'll be agreeing with you, saying, "Yeah, it's a patriarchy. That's what we're going against." And they'll all focus on that, and they'll have silly Black women focusing on that, instead of trying to address the issues that's going on between you and them, that they do to some degree have some influence and control over. So that's why I mean, I agree with you, Truth Teller. It is a patriarchy. I don't think we disagree with that. But I think where the question is, okay, well, boots on the ground, what do we deal with boots on the ground? What's the actual system? Again, when you go in the church, and the church is 85% females, the schools are 85% females, going to college or whatever, again, from just a practical functioning living standpoint, is very gynocratic. It's not, you shouldn't even refer to it as a matriarchy. It's a fucking gynocratic army almost.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to thank both of y'all, because you guys just actually explained my goddamn entire point this whole time.
Get the fuck
Yeah, but you just didn't like the words, so you kept stopping them from finishing the point because you didn't like the words were being used.
You misunderstand. You didn't. So you were not. I guess you guys weren't paying attention to the entire conversation. So when everybody gets off this podcast, you get a chance to go back and listen to this video, what the conversation was before I asked my question and before we moved into this to identify that it's actually a patriot. All of y'all was saying that it was a matriarchy. Now all of a sudden it's a patriarchy, and Callis just explained everything I was saying as far as a strategy.
Let's be accurate. Let's be accurate. I cut creator off.
Yeah, I remember.
off
Uru, you're right.
to get back to the point you were making.
Yeah, you're right. But prior to that, 99% of the niggas on the panel would say there was a matriarchy. Uru's correct.
I'm cutting everybody off right now because I'm back. Okay, I'm cutting everybody off. All right, it is what it is. Shout out to my main man, Rosemaster One, y'all. He dropped $50.57. Appreciate you, brother, for the Trail Billy tax. And he says, Roger, you were genius. Appreciate that big time. And Afro Merchant dropped something. Boom. He says,
And appreciate you, brother. He says, long live the black patriarchy. Until extinction or judgment day, hashtag dignity over vagina, hashtag long live Negroes in the wilderness, hashtag SYSBM, hashtag long live the habitual line steppers, hashtag hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Appreciate that big time. Appreciate that big time. And also want to give a shout out to my main man, Step Brother Dryer Repair. He also comes in and said, it's black men's communication skills. Black women are given power to subvert black men contextual. Our matriarchy is nested within the white matriarchy. Simple comms or simple communications. That's what that is. Now I'm gonna say this, y'all. Anyone who wants to, and I gotta know, because backstage I got, and I don't like to call names when you're backstage, but no placeholder. If you're trying to come up, let me know. Same thing for Supreme Kryptonian, because y'all could just be coming for Bible class. Because I did say I'm gonna shut it down when I get back. So y'all might just be here for Bible class, which is fine. I'm gonna say this, y'all. I'm surprised at how this argument went because you niggas grew up in the mall days. See now I got to be like y'all acting like niggas. Okay, y'all grew up when we was going to malls. You can have a mall, and you know what is a mall? A bunch of different stores. The store has their own culture. But the mall has a culture too. And the store's culture must conform with the mall's culture. So I don't see what the big deal is. Now, I'm going to say this. You know, I do understand why you're trying to make the point that you're making, Truth Teller, but I'm saying it's a patriarchy. If you're going to say this is a white man's patriarchy, cool. But you need to say that. Because truth be told, what's going on today is people are trying to jump right past holding white men responsible for what they do. Now you can say it's a matriarchy, and you can say that because white men are sponsoring the matriarchy. They literally put their money into it. They take the tax dollars and fund the black matriarchy. And y'all said earlier that a matriarch can't exist unless somebody's backing. Well, they are literally backing. It's that simple. And you can even say they backing them with force, because if you just do some of the stuff that you're supposed to do as a man, they can call the cops on you and all that type of stuff too. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I said black men gonna have to accept that patriarchy is, number one, gonna have to be a personal choice. If you took my kids from me, I just kill you. And a lot of people say, well, oh, you shouldn't say something like that. Why would I not kill for my children? That's always my first question. Why wouldn't I kill for my children? If I'm gonna kill for over anything, why wouldn't it be my kids? So again, people don't want to do stuff that need to be done. And why is they don't want to do stuff that need to be done? Because you got some white males who put a system together to literally use force to make sure you can't operate the way you're supposed to as a patriarch. Now, I still kill them anyway. You know what I'm saying? And we'll just figure it out later. But the people who take my kids will die. You know what I'm saying? As long as God allows me to breathe, death is on the menu. Because those are my kids. And that's just how I am. Because I am going to operate as a patriarch regardless of what people want. So the thing is, multiple people can be right at the same time. But to lose out on the fact that black women are doing stuff because they hate black men, or to lose out on the fact that we have, I'm going to tell you what we really got. Because we using these fancy words, matriarchy, gynocracy, and all that. What we have is slave culture. That's what we got. We got white men still trying to prop up black women as being in charge out there in the field and on the plantations. That's what we got. And black women love slave culture. As long as they can be in charge of some niggas, because that's what we are all the time to them. They good with it. So what we have is slave culture. Now the thing is, when we gonna walk away from it? And I'm gonna say to the other men, because I do believe what black men need to understand is, why are you being so matriarchal when you just don't have to be? I'm not saying it's easy to start moving as a patriarch, but you definitely don't have to be matriarchal. Because as long as you are participating in slave culture. Why are you okay with that? See, once I realized that as a man, I couldn't do it. Ain't nothing you can talk to me about. Ain't no amount of money you can throw at me to make me involve myself in slave culture. I'm not doing it.
And
it is what it is.
That's our job as thinking black men, is to make black men can be matriarchs if they want. We just got to make them aware they gotta choose that consciously. That's all the only place I'm at. If black men want to be matriarchal and want to follow up behind women and listen to mama and be scared of women and do all this, what we've been doing, that's cool. I just want to make sure you consciously making that decision, and we gonna have a conversation about it. Because like you said, like I said earlier, I'm not participating in no black matriarchy. I'm just not participating in it. So,
all right, I'm gonna say, is there any last statements anyone feel they need to make before we come off air? Was there any last statement you think you really need to make before we come off air?
Yeah, man, we gonna have it out with truth teller and Bible study.
It's about to be one. About to be one backstage.
I'm ready for Bible study.
I just say do a thorough analysis. Take a look at all of your.
We'll see truth teller at 3:15. Is that
That's right.
Now, I know Uber went to school up north because kids in the South don't get out at 3:15. Uber, they get out at 2. So I know you went to school up north.
Okay, Inspired Truth was trying to say something. Go ahead, Inspired Truth.
I was just saying, take a look at all and do all your analysis, move accordingly, follow your purpose in life, look at all your distal causes, your proximal causes, and evaluate them appropriately.
Sound good to me. Anybody else? Going twice? I'm gonna say that's a wrap, y'all. It's been a great show. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like some of the hard hitting content. And if you like the best show on social media, just subscribe right here, because this is where it's at. We do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time, not where you live. 9 a.m. Chicago time. We'll see y'all next time around. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.